evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Danbury Hat Tricks Hockey on the Hat Tricks YouTube channel. Casey Bryant alongside Jack O'Mara tonight, bringing you exclusive live coverage of that Danbury Hat Tricks all season long. As the Danbury Hat Tricks rematch the Battle Creek Rumblebees, looking to sweep the weekend from Battle Creek after a 5-0 shutout victory last night. Dylan Kelly stopped 23 shots on goal, and Carter Shinkarik netted a hat trick. But the slate is wiped clean, and the Battle Creek Rumblebees once more find themselves in a position to seek revenge as they enter this game 1-31. Jack, we mentioned last night how the Battle Creek Rumblebees would play with a certain sense of antsiness or perhaps desperation. We didn't exactly see it, and last night they're going to be up against it even more with some key faces out of their lineup. What will they have to do to adjust? They're
going to have to play a full-fledged hockey game. They're going to have to do a complete 180 from what we saw last night. The positive side for them is they've been here in Danbury now for a full day, so the travel might not affect them in any way, but you're right, Casey, they're missing a couple of key pieces out of the lineup tonight. That's not going to help their cause against a sharp goaltender in Dylan Kelly and an offense for Danbury that looks like they might be on the verge of clicking once again.
Most notably absent from this lineup, number 10, Maxim Noskov, will be out with an upper body injury. Number 29, Shea Carey, is out with a lower body injury. And Adam Howie, number 88, will be out with an upper body injury. So some notable offensive players that are absent. But there were a couple of other contributors last night for Battle Creek. Even though they weren't able to find the back of the net, there were still certain players that made their presence felt. Chief among them, number 67, Jacob Wolfe, who found himself generating a lot of shots for Battle Creek.
He absolutely was. He was pretty good in both ends of the ice, and I think for him and Battle Creek as a whole, they generated shot opportunities. Got to get the puck on net in this one. You saw a couple of times good-looking shots, hard shots that just flat-out missed the net. I think Wolfe was an impact player, and I think Stavros Soilis was an impact player against his former team. This is a huge game for Battle Creek because this will conclude the season series overall. If you were able to take a game on the road against Danbury, what an uplifting game this would be. Gotta be perfect in all stages of the game to compete with a Danbury team like this.
And most assuredly, they will be looking to establish their physicality. You saw a little bit of it last night, a couple of fights, and one of the guys that was in the middle of that stirring things up and who will be starting on the wing tonight, Willie Dagneau, who since being traded to the Rumblebees from the Elmira Enforcers has sought to bring an edge to the Rumblebees lineup.
Yeah, and that's something, sometimes that's all you need is some guy to go out there, throw a couple fisticuffs and, you know, kind of spark your team up a little bit. And Dagneau was getting after it with now player coach Billy McCreary.
That's
we
right.
saw that, and then he went head-to-head in the corner there with Cruz Listmeyer. So there's a lot of potential, I think, in this game, and a player like Dagneau, and to kind of jolt this team forward. I think he needs to have a good game, not only in his physical play, but also his senior leadership.
Michael Marcinek will be starting in goal for the Battle Creek Rumblebees. Marcinek enters the game with an 0-1 record, and in that one game, it wasn't exactly the most sterling of games. He has a 7.6 goals against average and .867 save percentage entering into the matchup. Starting opposite him as part of the Ameriprise Financial goaltending matchup of the game will be number 29, Dylan Kelly, who, as we mentioned before, stopped all 23 shots flung his way last night. And Dylan Kelly, the quality shots didn't really come until later in the game, and there were a couple of hold-your-breath moments where you thought maybe this is the shot that breaks the shutout, but he held firm.
He was really good last night, and the one shot that comes to mind is obviously that breakaway opportunity in which Dylan Kelly stuck out his right pad, and then the rebound wasn't there. I really think that that was a turning point for Kelly in the season, just to get a sure-handed shutout victory last night. Very, very important for his confidence as the team as a whole. He was really good. He's going to get the start again tonight. Got to feel good about where he's at. And for Battle Creek, you said it, Casey, the quality chances didn't come until really the third period. That needs to change tonight. You got to get quality shots on goal right off the rip.
One of the men who was limiting the quality shots on goal defensively was, as we mentioned, player coach Billy McCreary. He'll be starting on defense tonight alongside Marty Tuma, who is returning from a 3-game suspension, which bolsters your defensive core so much, having a veteran presence like Tuma back.
Absolutely, and he comes in and he slots in next to McCreary. That's going to be such a good matchup, and Talk about veteran experience. You look at one of the best minor professional hockey players maybe of all time in Billy McCreary, Marty Tuma, who's actually was drafted by the Florida Panthers and practiced with them. That's as veteran as you can get in the blue line. I mean, that's going to be a really, really fun pairing to watch tonight. And it's just going to help Dylan Kelly. I mean, he doesn't have to worry about too much when he's got two veterans like them in front of him.
I'm sure that Billy McCreary will listen back, and this is our opportunity to give him grief because this is probably one of the oldest defensive pairings in the FPHL. Marty Tuma, 34, Billy McCreary, 37.
Yeah, you don't see that too often in this league. You do not.
Nevertheless, it will be the Danbury Hat-Tricks with some veteran experience up front as well. They will have Nikola Levesque alongside Johnny Ruiz and Matthias Kasich, a line that generated a lot of offensive pressure. You know, Levesque and Kasich didn't have a point last night, but they were still buzzing and generated a lot of shots last night. Kasich especially is one of those guys where he's on the top line now for the Hat-Tricks. He's making his presence felt and trying to get more ice time.
And he has a little bit of freedom there too, Casey. You saw him just kind of all over the attacking zone for Danbury. That was a big thing for them last night, is get out and get aggressive on the forecheck, and Matthias Kasich embraced that from his first shift. He was all over the place, and when you have Ruiz and Levesque next to you, you can almost kind of be over-aggressive a little bit because you know you have those guys to support you.
We're going to turn you over now for the playing of our national anthem. Here now is public address announcer Christian Gardecki. Back now for puck drop of Danbury Hat-Tricks hockey on the Hat-Tricks YouTube channel. Starting line at first for the visiting Battle Creek Rumblebees. On defense, they will have number 4, Connor McNary, alongside number 11, Jason Stone. On the forward lines, they will have Willie Degnaud alongside John Champlain and Jacob Wolfe. In goal for the Rumblebees will be Michael Marcinek. Starting for the Danbury Hat-Tricks on defense, they will have Billy McCreary and Marty Tuma. On the forward lines, they will have Johnny Ruiz, Nikola Levesque, and Matthias Kasich. And in goal for the Hat-Tricks, sporting himself a quality record, 7 wins, 3 losses, is Dylan Kelly. And Dylan Kelly snapping what was an uncharacteristic streak for the Hat-Tricks. They had lost in Delaware 6-2. They had really their lunch fed to them last weekend by the Elmira Enforcers. And Dylan Kelly played well in that series but simply faced too many shots. Last night felt like a real confidence boost for this entire defensive squad.
Absolutely, and you just saw the rebound opportunities were not there. There were just so much traffic in front of the net that Battle Creek really couldn't penetrate to get in close. You saw just the defenders and even the forwards got involved. You saw a bunch of times Corey Anderson got as low as the goal line. It was an all-out effort to support Dylan Kelly last night, and we spoke to John Karpinski after the game, who's de facto head coach behind the bench at this stage with McCreary on the ice. He said, hey, these last couple of minutes, we got to surround and support our goaltender. They did that, and they got him the shutout.
But now we find ourselves back deadlocked at 0-0, a new day, a new hockey game. As away we go, the Hat-Tricks skating from left to right on your YouTube screen, donning their home black jerseys with white and orange trim. Into the near side corner it goes. Losing the handle on it for a moment is Champlain. His pass is intercepted by Levesque, and it goes out to the far side to Matthias Kasich, who enters in. Kasich spins around, looks to the net, feeds Levesque in the near side circle. It's broken up by the defensive stick of number 11, Jason Stone. As we mentioned, some missing pieces from the Battle Creek lineup. Well, some missing pieces still from the Danbury Hat-Tricks lineup as well, as they are still without number 77, Aaron Atwell, on the blue line, as well as number 11, Steve Mealy, as that shot is kicked out by Dylan Kelly. And Gordy Bunnell is another notable absence from this Hat-Tricks lineup, as Bunnell's offensive presence surely missed, but Hat-Tricks still were able to put up 5 goals last night, even without number 9. Carried up by Soilis, now feeds Luciani as he enters in on the near side, and his long wrist shot is eaten up by Kelly, and he holds a minute 9 seconds gone by. And I'm sure that Billy McCreary is reveling in the opportunity for the fact that you're able to still feel confident in your group and allow Aaron Atwell and Gordy Bunnell to rest up. Hopefully they can come back next weekend against Carolina. The fact that you're still able to put up 5 goals without them, it just goes to prove that you can really have the depth that you require to make a deep run.
Absolutely, and even if it requires the coach throwing on the skates and the pads, again, to help support this team, it's a clear sign that when this team's fully healthy, you can only imagine what they're able to do. And Marty Tuma missed that series against Elmira, so that was the defensive woes that kind of collected. And you talk about Aaron Atwell now, he's got to fight through this injury. So once those guys come back, now Tuma's back from the suspension. He served 3 games for the extracurriculars down in Delaware. Now Danbury's starting to lean towards more of a healthy lineup. Obviously, losing Bunnell hurts your offensive game, but they're still finding ways to score with or without their top guys.
Anderson pursues the puck in the near side corner, loses the handle on it. Now Johnny Ruiz trying to strip it away from the defender, Michael Thomas, but Thomas is able to escape his own zone. Puck will bounce towards McCreary at the far side, and McCreary enters in trying to get around Sebastian Crystal. Crystal, a former player for Billy McCreary earlier on in this season. Now Levesque has it, looking across the way, intended for Ruiz. It's behind him. Vlad Gavrik will pick up the puck and retreat. Back in once more as McCreary whines, thinks about a shot. Crystal was there in front of him. McCreary spins around as Levesque in the slot, Ruiz in front, sends it into the near side corner. No one was really there. Levesque will pick it up and wire it down low for Kasich. Kasich has a stick in his midsection as Thomas trying to hamper his progress. Now Ruiz cycles it for Levesque, has it in the corner. Looking for a man out in front, but it's intercepted by Wolfe. Trying to spring a man through is Daigneault. Daigneault one-hands it in deep, takes a hard check from Cruz Listmayer, and the two of them were jawing pretty healthily last night in the penalty box after the two of them exchanged some blows.
Absolutely. We'll see if that carries over.
Morrissey with a backhander that's snatched out of the air by Marcinek, and he holds on to it for a stoppage of play. 2 minutes 53 gone by.
Well, a couple of takeaways from that shift right there. Good sequence by Danbury's top line. Ruiz, Levesque, Kasich rotating around. A couple times now they've kind of thrown it from circle to circle in the attacking zone. It's been intercepted each time they've tried it, so they have to do a little bit better there.
Shot, and they score right off the faceoff. Shane Morrissey buries it. And Morrissey gets the hat-tricks on the board. It's 1-0.
Yeah, Morrissey, really, really smart play there. He comes right off the face-off win and throws it to the front of the net. There's so much traffic around that face-off dot. You could see Marcinek just could not pick it up. He just did not see it until it was too late. He tried to get his right blocker up there, and it's just a perfectly placed puck into the top corner. It doesn't have to be pretty. It wasn't the best wrist shot you'll see in the world, but all that traffic helped. And a really, really nice shot. Way to get going. And Shane Morrissey, 3 goals in 4 games since he's joined the Hat-Tricks. He looked good last night, didn't have a goal, but has one here. Really good start for Danbury.
So the Carrots come flying out onto the ice as Shane Morrissey picks up yet another point. Boy, he's really made a huge offensive impact since joining this squad.
You just see, like, his ability on the puck is so good, and you could just tell his hockey IQ is there as well. He just makes a play right off the face-off and says, hey, we haven't seen a shot yet in this game by either side. I'm just going to turn this around and fire it towards the net, and good things happen when you fire it and there's traffic in front of the net.
You're absolutely right, and right off the face-off, it seemed like it surprised Marcinek that his release was that quick, and really that's the skill level of Shane Morrissey. We've seen it immediately since he came to us from the SPHL. He last played for the Birmingham Bulls in the SP, and this is a player that has ECHL experience at that, so really it's been it's been a revelation to have Morrissey added, especially when you have other offensive players that are missing.
Absolutely, and he was one of those guys, I think, who had probably the best series against Elmira. Obviously a tough series to go down in the books as 2 regulation losses, but he was one of those players who was important.
And there's Morrissey with another quick wrist shot that's fought off by Marcinek. Out to the slot once more, backhanded by Bronner, fighting for it on the near side post, and Marcinek tumbles down onto it. And Shinkarik will get an assist. And another point for Carter Shinkarik, who has been he's been simply on fire. He now has points in 12 of his last 13 games. That's 22 points over the course of his last 13 games.
And last night he just went off. Obviously the hat trick on that last play too. He was hanging out on the side of the net, got 2 goals that way yesterday. He's one of those guys that's really essentially a second-line player, but just produces at such a high rate for this side on both aspects, and it's good to see that he was able to find the back of the net not once, not twice, but 3 times, and really kind of jolt the hat-tricks forward last night.
Sharp angle try by Kendall Bolin-Porter is snagged by the catching glove of Marcinek, and Marcinek is going to face a healthy dose of shots on goal in this game. We saw it last night, but Danbury hat-tricks were simply controlling the pace of play, and they dominated in time on attack. Even if they didn't have a eye-popping number of total shots, it was the mere fact that they were able to keep the puck in deep for sustained amounts of time.
Yeah, they got comfortable in their offensive sequences. They're doing things like that, getting in front of the net, getting good deflections. Again, you don't have to have a million shots to be successful. You just need a couple of good ones, and right off the bat, your first one goes in the back of the net.
Long shot by Vlad Gavrik is paddled aside by Marcinek. It goes into the near side corner. Casper Dierson takes a hard check, and the Rumblebees will start up ice. Here's Mark Steele trying to get it up the left wing to former hat-trick Brett Menton. Menton thought he was in ahead of Kenny Garrett, and he turns around and voices his displeasure. But it will be an icing deemed against the Battle Creek Rumblebees, and the faceoff will come back towards Marcinek.
That's an interesting part of the game because the puck's rolling around behind the net. So Menton essentially wins the race to the near side circle, but because the puck has to be played on the other side, Garrett essentially is in front of Menton as they are attacking the puck, and that's why the icing's called.
Listmayer will wrap it around the kick plate. It goes past the reach of Kasich. It bounces off the side of the net. Trying to set it up in front was Ruiz, but his pass is intercepted by Steele. Steele has his stick lifted from behind by Kasich, and Kasich exemplifying his strength as he's able to, from a couple of feet behind Steele, still be able to lift his lumber off the puck.
And those are the plays, Casey, that Battle Creek needs. When they get the puck, they force a turnover, and they get the puck back from Danbury. They need to be able to go from one end to the other without turning the puck over, and they haven't been able to do that all weekend.
A hard wrist shot off the stick of Levesque finds glass, and it bounces out towards the neutral zone. Tuma will flip it towards the Battle Creek bench. Kasich has the puck roll off his stick, and McCreary will settle things down. He's got Wolfe in front of him. Wolfe will try to smoke him out from behind the net, and a savvy play there by McCreary, banking it off the back of his net and lifting it down towards the left wing to Shane Morrissey. What a play by McCreary, as here comes Morrissey dancing in, trying to get around the defender. Trailing shot by Shinkarik. He scores! Carter Shinkarik, it's 2-0 hat-tricks.
Well, this all starts with the Billy McCreary playing his own end. Going up against Wolfe, just a little nifty move. Pitchforks it down the length of the ice, and then it's Morrissey who corrals it, ends up losing the puck, but then Shinkarik, just a nose for getting into the good areas, sees the puck loose. He's the first player to it, and Marcinek can't get himself set. Quick shot, quick goal, 2-0.
The 4th goal of the weekend for Carter Shinkarik, who remains scalding hot. His 2nd point already of the game, just before the 5-minute mark. Shinkarik found the back of the net 1 minute and 41 seconds into last night's contest, and it just seems like there's an extra jump to his game this weekend, Joe.
Absolutely, and you look at the hat tricks as a whole, that's 2 quick goals just over the 5-minute mark now here in this first period. That's when they're most successful, is when they jump right out and they get into a lead, and then they don't stop, they go out and get another goal. This is how they like to play their brand of hockey, is jump out to a lead and keep the foot on the throttle.
Shinkarik will back pass to Vlad Gavrik as that line takes another shift. Holding on to it is Billy McCreary. He's got Stavros Soilis in front of him, and it goes back towards Marcinek. And Boy, you feel for Battle Creek in the sense that I'm sure that heading into this game and talking with their head coach, Adam Steo, they wanted to adjust how they prepared for the start of the game. And you felt like towards the end of last game, they were building towards something where at the start of this one, they can kind of carry in a semblance of momentum. It's difficult to find momentum when you're down 5-0, but at the same time, they were executing some more plays, and you felt that maybe they had a chance to take it to Danbury in the early goings. No such luck here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the gas has been taken out of the tank, and you want to build. Yesterday, you know you're probably not getting. It looks like we're going to have a penalty here. Brett Menton's going to go to the box.
Well, after the play, Menton was jawing with a couple of hat tricks, and he fired a couple of extra shots after the whistle on Dylan Kelly. So they might be calling him for unsportsmanlike if I had to guess.
Yeah, we'll see what the call is. But, Casey, it's one of those things, okay, let's use the last 5 minutes last night to say, hey, let's build up for tomorrow. Let's try to get on the right end of this one and just get some momentum. You're right in the momentum portion. And you come out, you can't really find a groove offensively. You're turning the puck over a couple times, and boom, Danbury takes advantage of that.
So it'll be a power play assessed for the Danbury hat tricks. Unsportsmanlike conduct is in fact the cause. Here's a shorthanded break for Soilis. That's turned out by Kelly. And Stavros Soilis making things happen when down a man. And that's exactly what you want to see if you're Battle Creek. You want to see a little jump even when down a man. So the power play comes in for the Danbury Hat-Tricks. They are third in the league, operating at 22%. They did have a power play goal last night, scored by Corey Anderson in the early goings of the second period. Puck will be deflected off of a Battle Creek stick and up into the netting, and we'll get a stoppage of play. 1:25 to go in the penalty to Brett Menton. 6 minutes 41 gone by here in the first.
And that's the play that we saw from Soilis last night, too, in that he's so jumpy. He's eager to get into some situations. That's a good chance right there. Kelly made a strong save. And Battle Creek still looking for their first shorthanded goal of the season, Casey.
And here they come again as Wolfe aggressively in on Kelly, and who Kelly takes a little bit of an adventure to come out and play the puck.
Practically at the blue line there.
Well, we see Kelly very frequently come out from behind his net. He's a very confident puck handler. That's one of the strengths of his game. And especially at this level, that's so valuable because not every netminder in the FPHL is extremely comfortable playing the puck. Wolfe will backhand it in towards the end boards, takes a swipe and goes off for a change. Dagno will pursue Vlad Gavrik, who leaves the puck for Dearson, who slides it to Bullen Porter. Bullen Porter looks to the net, wrist shot swallowed up by Marcinek, had a juicy rebound lying in front of him, but he's able to dive headlong and cover it up. 43 seconds remains in the penalty to Menton.
It's a good effort from Bullen Porter, and there you go, the coast-to-coast speed led up ahead by Dearson, finds Bullen Porter, and then just trying to get in that rebound. Marcinek does a really good job to hang with it and use the sprawling abilities to fall on that puck.
Here's McCreary in the high slot, looks to the net, shot through traffic, is held by Marcinek. Had Bullen Porter taking away Marcinek's eyes in front.
And you talk about a player that's building momentum, building confidence. How about Billy McCreary? I mean, last night, a little bit tentative in some aspects of the game, conservative more so. Then the game started to open up. He got his first assist of the season. He ended up getting a second assist, and you saw him take control of the puck a little bit more. He's done that right from the start here in this one.
Dearson in the near side circle has across the way Vlad Gavrik. He finds him. Gavrik with a wrist shot off the post. A rebound try stopped by Marcinek. A third attempt. That one's put home. Casper Dearson. A power play goal. It's 3-0 Hat-Tricks.
And you preach as a coach, never give up on plays. Couple times here, Danbury feels like they might have gotten robbed. Dearson, a second chance rebound, goes off of the pad of the goaltender Marcinek, and then the third chance, goaltender on the ground. Guys trying to get in front of the net to block the shot. Dearson finally able to find the back of the net there. Really, really good effort from the Danbury power play unit to just hang on and get the puck and jump on those second chance opportunities.
So Casper Dearson gets in on the action. He gets his 6th goal of the season, his 21st point. That is his second power play goal of the season. And that came after what was initially a stellar save by Marcinek. The initial shot by Gavrik hit the post. Spinorama backhand, and they score again! Bronner, 4-0.
Well, we haven't seen much from Phil Bronner, but a loose puck in front, and you know he loves that spin move. Whether it's a pass, whether it's a shot, if he's in front, right in front of that blue paint, he loves to just put it on his backhand and flip it around. And again, Marcinek's just absolutely lost here in the little play, and Battle Creek's going to have to take a timeout because Danbury has absolutely just come out and fired on all occasions here. Guns a-blazing for the Hat-Tricks.
So you all right, Adam Steele will take his timeout after another quick goal from Phil Bronner. Puts the Hat-Tricks up 4-0, and for Phil Bronner, that is his 14th goal of the season. And what a start for the Danbury Hat-Tricks, imposing their will on the Battle Creek Rumblebees in the early goings. It feels like the puck hasn't left that zone in several minutes.
Yeah, ever since the power play came, and it's tough for Brett Menton. Takes that penalty against his former team, and Danbury cashes in on it. And again, it's never being content with the lead for Danbury. They're up 3-0. You feel like they're in control of the game a little bit here early in the first, and they just go right back, and Phil Bronner scores seconds later.
So 4 goals in the span of just over 8 minutes for the Danbury Hat-Tricks. As back pass, and the Battle Creek Rumblebees will settle down the puck and try to get to work. Entering in on the left side is Kasich with Levesque cutting towards the net. A pass goes off a defensive stick and bounces its way towards the boards. Picked up and carried out. Here's Soilis. Has Luciani on his left. Soilis will try to get around Tuma. Kenny Garrett will provide a bit of support behind the goal line. Flips it up into the midsection and is carried out by Champlain. Champlain chips it towards the near side corner, where once more Tuma will hold on to it. Tuma takes a check from behind and will kick it soccer style up to Levesque. Bouncing puck, Thomas has it in his skates. Thomas with a look to the net. His wrist shot rifled wide.
Yeah, a really good chance for Thomas, but you got to hit the cage there. Huge, huge opportunity, and another shot goes wide for Battle Creek.
I tell you what, there were so many looks last night that went wide for Battle Creek that could have been prime scoring opportunities. The direction finder just seems to be a little bit off for the yellow and black.
It really is just the hockey gods at this point, Casey. They are just, for whatever reason, holding Battle Creek. They have a vendetta against them.
Well, it's almost like you're playing at a carnival, one of those shoot games where the scope is purposely angled off to the side so you miss the bottle. It's like a carnival act. Here's Anderson looking to the net. Anderson's wrist shot is snagged out of the air by Marcinek.
I want to take a look at Marcinek right now if you can get a good look at him. He's so deep in the crease, and that's a good thing if you're a good shooter because you have a lot more net to look at. So that's why a couple of times Marcinek sits back a little bit deeper. He's not necessarily the largest goaltender in the world at just 5'10". There's a lot more cage that you can try and hit, and that's why a couple of these shots have gone in.
Entering in now on the left side, Daigneault looks to the net, kick saved by Kelly, and trickles in! Kelly got a piece of it, but not enough, and Daigneault was able to bury one. It's 4-1.
Well, there you go. That's a confidence booster in Daigneault. We mentioned it, his physical play all weekend. Going to get rewarded eventually for that. He goes right to the net, and this one trickles in. Maybe they heard us. The hockey gods are starting to turn.
There you go. And Willie Daigneault gets his second goal of the season, both goals against the Danbury Hat-Tricks. He scored earlier in the season as a member of the Elmira Enforcers. And for Dylan Kelly, I'm sure that's one that he'll definitely want back. He used his long legs, and he got a big, big, juicy piece of it, but it wasn't enough.
Yeah, that's a tough break for a goaltender who's been so strong all weekend. Just one that slips away from you. The best thing to do now if you're Kelly is just respond. Make a huge save on the next chance and just get your footing back. He's one of those players who will brush that off and not let it bother him.
Bouncing puck out in front. Here's Steele, has it in his skates. McCreary interrupts his progress and forces him out to the neutral zone. McCreary had his stick in his midsection.
That's such a good play by McCreary because if that's a shot for Steele, that's a good chance. But again, I mean, this guy, Bill McCreary, he's a mastermind behind the bench, does pretty well on the ice too.
Long slapper by Ethan Bush Anderson will be gloved out of the air by Dylan Kelly, and we've reached the media timeout. And you can see that Ethan Bush Anderson, after he let that shot go, looked to the sky because he got his full weight behind it, and that's a lot of weight to get behind it. The Marquette, Michigan native, 6'4", 200 pounds. He is a steady defenseman. He takes up a lot of space. He's got a very long reach, and he's got a very hard slapper. The only problem is that they aren't able to get him too much room on the blue line.
Yeah, that's really it. And those are some of the plays that you might need if your Battle Creek is blast from the blue line, because if you're able to do that, you're going to open up the defense a little bit more. Forwards are going to come up to try to block some shots, opens up the middle of the ice. It's just the simple things that Battle Creek needs to find a way to do, and I think it's so important that they get that goal, Casey, because if you're 4-0 down, and then Danbury, if they get another one, or they just continue to, pour the pressure on offensively, even if you walk away with a 4-0 lead at the end of the period, it's going to be so demoralizing. You get a goal here, it might be a little bit of a cheap one. It doesn't matter. It got into the net, got over the line. Use that as a kind of a springboard now for you guys. It's just a 3-goal game. There's still plenty of time.
Puck bounces towards Kelly, and he settles it down for Gavrik. And you are right. You want to feel like you're responding. You want to feel like you're winning the little battles, which will eventually add up to bigger and better things for your squad. As Sebastian Crystal crosses over to Michael Thomas. Now Crystal holds. Crystal. The Swede gets it up to Stavros Soilis. Back pass for Soilis now. Has the backhander trying to find Alvis on the near side post, and Alvis can't field it cleanly. Alvis, the leading scorer for the Battle Creek Rumble Bees, has 16 points, but has not had very much luck lately, has no points in his last 11 games. Here's Levesque on the backhand. That's fought off by Marcinek. He got his left shoulder on that one. And Ryan Alvis' last goal came on December the 20th, which was a hat trick and a 6-5 loss to the Elmira Enforcers. Here's Dearson entering in, looks to the net. Wrist shot, backdoor pass intended for Bolin Porter. Bolin Porter got a piece of it, but it hit off the glass instead of the net. And Marcinek went down on the ice as he had to evade a collision with Bolin Porter, and the referee also takes a tumble, which gets the Bronx cheer from the Danbury Hat-Tricks faithful. Ice can be slippery. Here's Dagno entering once more on the left side. Backhander flitters high and wide.
Yeah, good speed again by Dagno. Beats Tuma to that far side. Just couldn't get the backhand on net. That's a tough angled shot.
Dagno is a spark plug. You feel like he's got a lot of Lemieux in him, namely the Claude Lemieux, Brendan Lemieux tree, not the Mario necessarily, though that wouldn't be a...
I was going to say.
Well, it's the skilled player that can also mix it up a little bit. That is who he reminds me of. McCreary trying to evade Brett Menton. He's able to saucer it over to Carter Shinkarik, who settles it down in his own end. With 7:40 to go in the first period, 4-1 is your score in favor of the Danbury Hat-Tricks. If you've missed the first bit of the game, well, you've missed a lot. As Shinkarik with a long saucer pass finds the stick of Phil Bronner. He settles it down for Morrissey, who enters in past the defense. Morrissey looks to the net. Sharp angle try off the mask of Marcinek, sitting in the blue paint, is cleared out. Now once more to the net. Bronner hits it off the side of the net, and we got a stoppage of play as the net comes off its mooring.
Oh, tough break there for Danbury. Bronner looking at a gaping net, and he just forces it wide. Battle Creek doing enough down low. And Marcinek, boy, he had his work cut out for him early in this first period. My goodness, he's been sprawling. He's had to use his head now to make a save. Danbury using all of their weapons offensively, trying to find that fifth goal now.
Shinkarik will take the draw to the right of Marcinek, going up in the faceoff dot against Wolfe. Tied up in one by the Battle Creek Rumble Bees, lifted up off the midsection of Morrissey, has it on his backhand in the slot, looking for Shinkarik at the far circle. Shinkarik loses the handle on it, trying to evade a defender, and Steele pushes it forward. 2-on-1 against McCreary. Here's Steele with Alvis. Steele to the net, saved by Kelly, rebound sitting around on the red line, and Gavrik is able to steer it out.
Oh, how about that? Gavrik couldn't get his stick down, so he just used the old soccer move, kick it out of there. And we'll see what the officials decide to do. I believe a Battle Creek player came in and hit the net. We'll see if they hold the face-off in. No, they're going to take it out. Good call by the official there. I think they got it right in that a Battle Creek player came in and he was not pushed, so it forces the face-off out of the zone.
That is true, and for a moment it looked like as Gavrik was standing there from a certain vantage point, it almost looked like Gavrik was barreling into the net to prevent the puck from crossing in on time. But no, Gavrik with a savvy play to knock the puck free, and then the net came off. by way of a Battle Creek player. Turnover, here's Soilis. Soilis has his stick lifted from behind by Johnny Ruiz. Good play by Ruiz. Turnover once more at the blue line. Luciani can't enter in onside, so the Rumble Bees will retreat. Soilis loses the handle. Levesque with a backhander over to Kasich. Kasich trying to split the defense, taken away by Thomas. Forced in deep once more. Here's Levesque with a blind centering pass that hits off of the legs of Crystal and goes up into the netting, and we'll get a stoppage of play with 6:34 to go in the first.
You have to look at that last play with that puck just kind of dribbling towards the goal line. Dylan Kelly, again, another save that he makes about 80% of, and it just squeaks through. You have to have those if you're Dylan Kelly, and a couple of mishandled plays so far. Danbury's bailed them out on the second one. But Battle Creek, a little bit of mojo coming back to them, Casey.
Bouncing puck, Listmeyer has Daigneault bearing down behind him. Listmeyer shielding the puck away, using his frame, gets it out towards the neutral zone. It'll be settled down by McNary. Taken away, here's Levesque fighting his way through, trying to get it to Ruiz. Ruiz gets a stick on it, but taken away. Here's Wolfe. Slides it over now to Alvis, enters in. Alvis squares to the net, paddled aside by Kelly into the corner. Wolfe fields, wraps it around off the glass. Battle Creek was going off for a change, so a lot of open space. Listmeyer will cross over to his defensive partner, McCreary, who skies it out into the neutral zone.
A really good shift there again for that Wolfe, Alves, and Daigneault line. They continue to collect good energy from them.
And if you're Battle Creek and you're Adam Steele, you just wish they could take every shift, because every time they're out on the ice, you feel something in the air like they could make something happen. Feeding it out to Kenny Garrett at the blue line. Garrett dumps it in deep. Anderson behind, gets it out to Bolin Porter in the corner. Dearson switches places with him. They get it out to Garrett once more at the high point. Here's Corey Anderson taking a few steps in. Anderson had a pair last night. Has it at the near side circle. Good pass out to Garrett. Long wrist shot. Kick save by Marcinek. And Kenny Garrett came close a couple times, Jack, to potting one last night. He's still hunting for his first point as a member of the Hat Tricks.
Yeah, he looked good on the offensive side of the game last night. Couple of good shots from the blue line, getting himself involved. But he had a couple that you just said, oh, he's that close, hunting, and he's trying so hard to get the monkey off your back.
And he did hit a post last night as well.
Yep.
On one particular shot. As there's a scrum in the near side corner of the Danbury zone. Steele is there trying to dig it out, as is Brett Menton, and Menton comes away with it, though he collides with Kendall Bolin Porter. Puck will pop up into the air, and Anderson will shuffle it up to Dearson, who in turn turns it to Vladislav Gavrik. Enters in, back pass for Morrissey. Morrissey taking a step in, he scores! Shane Morrissey! And the Hats are raining down.
Wow. I mean, Shane Morrissey, this little drop pass. How about the effort from Vlad Gavrik? He goes motoring ahead, and that's the natural forward in him showing out, and he just drops it off. Morrissey picks it right up in the slot area, and then Kendall Bolin Porter does so well. He's able to jump right in front of the goaltender, set the screen, don't make contact with the goalie, and another one for Shane Morrissey. Good start to the night for him. Holy cow.
Well, it should be noted that the reason why this is a hat trick for Morrissey is because Casper Dearson's power play goal was scoring changed to Shane Morrissey. And that'll be it for Marcinek, as Morgan Hudson will come in relief for the Battle Creek Rumblebees. So Hudson, who faced a full workload last night, will go back into the crease for Battle Creek. And a lackluster start for Michael Marcinek.
And now 5 goals in 4 games for Shane Morrissey and Danbury Black and Orange, Casey.
That's true. Well, Morrissey has made an immediate impact, and especially because he's able to find immediate chemistry with a former SPHL teammate in Carter Shinkarik. But on that particular play, he got a helper from Vladislav Gavrik, who has been playing on the blue line this weekend in lieu of some absences as the long wrist shot goes off the glass. And Gavrik is able to pick up another assist, had an assist last night, getting more involved in the offense, as setting up in front. Bronner fanned on it, had an open net. Here's McCreary chipping it down low for Shinkarik, with Bronner setting a screen. Morrissey at the near side post if they can find him. McCreary has it hop off his stick, and out into the neutral zone it goes. Entering in, Morrissey looks to the net once again, drags it to his backhand, but a delayed call as a high stick will be assessed against the Danbury Hat Tricks.
I think it might have just been played with a high stick here, Casey.
So the puck will be dropped in front of the penalty boxes out in the neutral zone with 3:31 remaining in the first period. 5-1 is your score in favor of the Danbury Hat-Tricks, and already a hat trick is being credited to Shane Morrissey. Morgan Hudson will stop the puck behind the net, and McNary will flick it over to Dagneau. Shots on goal currently 16-8 in favor of the Danbury Hat-Tricks. And here's Levesque crossing red line, gets it up to Ruiz. Calling for Kasich in the slot, Ruiz will elect to shoot. Hudson with a pad save. Flips it up into the air. Listmeyer has it hop over the blade of his stick, and he'll be forced back into the neutral zone as the Hat-Tricks will have to retouch up.
And for a moment, you started to think Battle Creek might have something going for them. Danbury just takes that away from them.
Ruiz looking for the one-timer for Kasich in front. Too many bodies in the way.
In case you almost forget, we're still in the first period here. We've seen all this action.
Long way to go as Kasich squares to the net. That one's blocked in front. Good play by McNary. Puck squibs now into the near side corner. Here's Steele trying to shield it away. Gets it once more over to McNary. And aggressive forechecking from the Hat-Tricks as the Rumblebees are having a devil of a time getting it over their own blue line. Here's Menton. Has it on his backhand. Turned over. Here's Kasich. Has it in his skates. Dearson in the high slot. Has Tuma and Garrett patrolling the blue line. Tuma fields, long wrist shot, glove saved by Hudson, and it bounces out to the far side corner, kept alive by Dearson. Approaching the 2-minute warning here in the first. Dearson flips it up into the air, looking for Garrett down low. Bolin Porter gets a stick on it, and it's redirected up into the netting with 2:02 to go.
The last save that Hudson made, I mean, that is unbelievable how he was able to fight that one off through the traffic that he saw in front. Again, Danbury just getting bodies, using every single weapon in the arsenal right now. Shots in front, screens in front of the goalie. We've seen a couple of nice skill plays as well. It's all working for them in this one.
Luciani trying to evade Billy McCreary, and we'll get a stoppage of play, as it looks like it will in fact be a penalty being assessed against Billy McCreary. And McCreary was extending his hip to try to impede Luciani's progress. Can't do that. And McCreary will take a seat in the penalty box. So Battle Creek will get a power play opportunity.
Yeah, just a little bit too much body contact for McCreary. When you're away from the puck like that, it's one thing if you're able to just kind of nudge a player along. But if you're holding them back like that, that's another. And, it looks like we're going to get a double minor here for number 15.
All right, so it looks like 4 minutes being assessed to Billy McCreary. We'll see what the other penalty was. It might be a high stick going in. I thought it was interference that was signaled. There's Levesque carrying it up, crossing the blue line.
They gave him an unsportsmanlike conduct, Casey, afterwards. Had a couple of things to say, the officials.
Well, things that you can perhaps get penalized for as a player that as a coach perhaps you have the option of muttering under your breath or just saying to your fellow coaches on the bench. So here's Vinny Suzy with a long slap shot. That's swallowed up by Dylan Kelly with his left arm, and he'll hold on to it. So the Hat-Tricks will have to kill now 3.5 minutes. It will carry over into the second period, of course, barring 2 goals being scored on the part of the Rumblebees. But if you're Battle Creek and you're Adam Steele, you're licking your lips at this opportunity because you're trailing by 4. You now have an opportunity to get 2 power play goals. You have to take it a play at a time here and execute offensively. Absolutely,
and I think if you're really shooting for this comeback scenario, you got to get one here. I think in this $1:23 left in the first period, attack, attack, attack. We saw the offense starting to get moving for Battle Creek. Keep doing that. Keep motoring on forward. I think guys like Steele with the high motor that they have, you have to keep this thing going, and you have to get a goal quick.
Gavrick is able to get it up to his penalty-killing forward, Bolin Porter, as he enters in short-handed, trying to get around Sebastian Crystal. Picking up the puck is Thomas. He'll settle it down with a minute remaining in the first period. Battle Creek hunting for a power play goal before period's end to try to carry in some positive momentum heading into the intermission. Dearson will turn around, take a swing at it, and bat it back towards the end of the ice. Hudson will settle it. Thomas holds. Has Menton with him, as well as Bush Anderson, Alvis, and Luciani as the 5-man power play unit. This is a situation where if you're Battle Creek, you miss number 88, Adam Howie, the kind of player that can carry it coast to coast. Here's Alvis, now with a saucer pass intended for Thomas, who banks it off the legs of Luciani, and it goes in deep, but the Rumblebees are going off for a change. Kenny Garrett crossing his own blue line now leads Shinkarik in the waning seconds of the first period. Luciani holds. Susie with a back pass, and it looks like the Rumblebees will just try to kill off these final few seconds, and that will do it. 2:05 of a penalty will carry over into the first period. But at the end of one, the Danbury Hat Tricks have dominated the Battle Creek Rumblebees. It is a 5-1 score at the end of 20 minutes. And Jack, what can you even say after an explosive offensive period like that?
Well, they matched their goal total last night. They came out with a purpose tonight, Casey. They came out with the goal of just getting out on the right foot and putting 100% effort forward. And Shane Morrissey, really good start to his Danbury Hat Tricks career. A hat trick in one period. Very, very impressive. We saw Shinkarik collect another goal. He's got 4 this weekend. Everything's clicking. Dylan Kelly has one that sneaks by him. A little bit unsure-handed on that play. You brush it off. You go to the locker room. You're in good spirits after that really strong period.
Well, the Danbury Hat Tricks at this point have matched their offensive output from last night in one singular period. How many more will either team get? We'll find out after the ice is cut. You're watching Danbury Hat Tricks Hockey on the Hat Tricks YouTube channel. Casey Bryant alongside Jack O'Mara. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for live coverage of the Danbury Hat-Tricks as they take on the Battle Creek Rumblebees here at Danbury Arena. Casey Bryant alongside Jack O'Mara, bringing you exclusive live coverage of the Danbury Hat-Tricks tonight and every night on the Danbury Hat-Tricks YouTube channel. Be sure to follow the Danbury Hat-Tricks at Danbury Hat-Tricks on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube channel for live game streams, exclusive behind-the-scenes footage, interviews, highlights, and more. And, well, if you missed the first period, well, you missed quite a bit of scoring as the Danbury Hat-Tricks leapt out to a 5-1 lead. How we got here? Well, Shane Morrissey opened the scoring with a shot off the face-off, which was won by Carter Shinkarik. Then in turn, a couple minutes later, Carter Shinkarik got one of his own. Casper Dearson buried one on the power play. It was changed momentarily to Shane Morrissey's second goal of the game. It has since been reversed back to Casper Dearson's goal. Phil Bronner would then pot one 25 seconds later by spinning a backhander past the Battle Creek netminder Michael Marcinek. Willie Degnaud would answer back for Battle Creek halfway through the period, but Shane Morrissey would get his second of the game. Initially, there were some hats out on the ice, but you'll have to take those hats back, as that is just Morrissey's second of the game off a nifty pass from Vladislav Gavrik. And that chased Marcinek from the net, and Morgan Hudson will now take over goaltending duties. So the Battle Creek Rumblebees, they have themselves still a power play opportunity. They have just over 2 minutes, 2:04 remaining in the penalty to Billy McCreary, who got a double minor before period's end. 2 for interference, 2 for unsportsmanlike conduct. So the puck is dropped and away we go, as now the Hat-Tricks will be skating from right to left on your YouTube screens. As picking it up is Stavros Soilis, who's out there with Alvis and Luciani on the forwards line. Bush Anderson and Susie will patrol the blue line on the power play. Bronner takes a swing at it and whacks it down the length of the ice, where Morgan Hudson will receive. Shinkarik in aggressively on the penalty kill. Shinkarik is joined by Phil Bronner, Marty Tuma, and Kenny Garrett as the penalty kill, with 90 seconds remaining in the penalty. Up the left side comes Bush Anderson, who's pursued by Bolin Porter. 2 hyphenated names coming together in the neutral zone. Now into the near side corner of the Hat-Tricks end. Luciani has his stick lifted by Marty Tuma, and Tuma will pitchfork it down the length of the ice, and the Hat-Tricks will get a clear. Hudson stops the puck for a moment, then paddles it over to the near side corner. Battle Creek just trying to find some open space to make some decisions, and Casper Dearson extended his right leg a little bit there as he was colliding with Ethan Bush Anderson. Bush Anderson went down, and you can see he's wincing a little bit in his leg. Into the corner, a hard check, Cruz Listmeyer. Picked up now by Gavrik. 45 seconds remains in the power play, and so far no shots on goal in the period. Here's Gavrik, has it in the slot, dances around a couple of defenders, but that'll be taken away by Jason Stone. Stone hits Alvis in stride. Excuse me, that's Wolfe. And Wolfe now holds it in the near side circle. Has Shane Morrissey on it. 25 seconds to go in the power play. High slot, Stone over to his left. Now crossing once more to Champlain. His shot, it rolls off his stick and is blocked in front by Gavrik.
Tell you what, Casey, that's probably the best moving puck that we've seen from Battle Creek. Stick to stick, tape to tape.
As now they get a shot with a redirection out in front, sitting down there in the blue paint, and Champlain fires it wide, and that will do it for the power play. Now out of the box, here's Shane Morrissey entering in. Morrissey on the backhander. His shot stopped by Hudson. He got his left toe on it.
Oh, Morrissey streaking again. He is hungry for the goal tonight. And just a heads-up play for Danbury to get the puck forward as soon as that penalty expires, and it's a huge kill for Danbury because that's 4 minutes where Battle Creek could have potted at least 1 goal, could have gotten 2 with still some power play time, and they were unable to really get anything going on that power play.
And no shots on goal towards Dylan Kelly. And Kelly turned aside 10 of 11 shots in the opening frame. So Battle Creek already halfway to what was last night's total of 23. Into the near side corner a goal goes where Garrett will field. Will simply send it out towards an area where Sebastian Crystal will cut it off, and Crystal will battle it back in. Here's Garrett once more with the puck on his stick, keeps his feet moving, has a man bringing him down from behind, and Brett Menton. No whistle, play goes on. Kasich over to Levesque, entering in. Back pass for Ruiz. Chips it ahead, intended for Levesque, broken up by the legs of Thomas. Levesque has it on his backhand, trying to split defenders, shielding the puck with his hips. Good, strong play by Levesque. He's got a stick underneath his left arm, wanting a call. And Sebastian Crystal is able to force it out into the neutral zone, though.
I'll tell you what, Battle Creek played that 3-on-2 very, very nicely. Thomas was in the right position as Levesque had a little drop pass. And Thomas just kind of stayed with the puck there, and it really just eliminated any chance that Danbury had, and it ended up being an empty possession.
Puck bounces out towards between the hash marks. Gavrik now holds at the far side point. 3.5 minutes gone by here in the first. Blind set up in front. Tim Hanlon taking a shift out there with Phil Bronner and Shane Morrissey on the forward line. Set up in front. Vying forward is Morrissey. Bouncing around, looking for Morrissey once more on the near side post, and it hits off his skates. Morrissey squaring to the net, looking to pass it to the far side circle, intended for Gavrik. Fanned on the pass. Brought down to the ice is Tim Hanlon. Puck will be taken away from him and carried out by Champlain. Champlain now with a 3-on-2 if they hurry. Has Soilis joining him as well as Thomas. Will skate it in deep and then whiff on the puck and is knocked down for his efforts. So not much on that rush opportunity. I don't think he recognized that he had numbers with him. Bush Anderson plays it along the wall. Gavrik takes it away. Crossing the way, here's Hanlon with room. Hanlon fires a shot that's swallowed up by Hudson.
Oof, Timmy Hanlon, a little bit of space there. That's a good find, too, over there on that far side. And with some space, he says, I'm going to wind and fire this thing, take my best shot. Good save by Hudson. Really, really nice job there for Danbury. Again, coming out, applying the pressure in the attacking zone. Not necessarily getting a ton of shots again, Casey, but it's the possession time.
Behind the end line, Marty Tuma crosses the way to Listmayer, and a quick exit for the hat-tricks, albeit not one that finds the friendly stick of Casper Dearson. Tuma once more will pinball it out toward the opposing blue line. Settling things down in the neutral zone, trying to send it back in. Tuma again acting as the paddle and pinball, and will send it down the length of the ice. This one will in fact go for an icing.
I'll tell you what, in terms of Battle Creek, you haven't seen really much possession time on the other end of the ice around Dylan Kelly over the last couple of minutes. Really, really good sustained pressure. And Danbury, the thing that they're doing well is they just keep the puck moving. There's never a time where anybody's kind of stopped in their tracks, handling the puck for too long. It's on their stick, and then it's quick moving. It's on another guy's stick, quick moving.
Susie at the blue line has Anderson bearing down on him. Will flip it down low where Tuma will intercept. Tuma out to Bolin Porter. Slides it to his right to Dearson. Motors on in with Bolin Porter streaking to the net, crossing the way to Anderson. Settles it down in the corner. Evades the check of Daigneault. Behind the end line as Bolin Porter is staple gunned along the wall. Anderson has Alvis bearing down on him. Alvis throwing a couple of stick checks, but Anderson shielding the puck away. Strong play by Anderson as Bolin Porter stuffs it in from the far side post. Kendall Bolin Porter with a power move. It's 6-1.
Wow, the smallest guy on the ice with the biggest move of the night. Just goes from one post to the next and uses just that reach. He gets a good angle on the puck, and he just holds it. You see how strong his hands were to keep the puck on the blade of the stick and just force it into that near side post area. And he's one of those guys where Kendall Bolin Porter's not going to light up your stat sheet, but how hard he works, he deserves a goal every once in a while. He gets it there.
And that's a terrific puck play. Bolin Porter and Anderson were both doing work along the boards, and Corey Anderson earned that primary assist on Bolin Porter. And Bolin Porter, what reach for Bolin Porter? You mentioned he's the smallest guy on the ice, but what reach he had to get around the long legs of Morgan Hudson.
And with defenders on top of him too, Casey, that's the biggest thing. You got a guy leaning on you, and you still have to make a strong play with the puck going from one side of the cage to the next.
Carrying it in the other way is Champlain. A weak shot is seen and held by Dylan Kelly. And that'll be a stop. 5 minutes, 52 seconds gone by here in the second period, and the Danbury Hat-Tricks have found the back of the net. It's now 6-1.
And again, nothing taken for granted here for Danbury. They want to come out, and there's nothing held back. And that's one of the biggest things that Johnny Krapinski was preaching was we want to keep showing our offensive ability. We want to show our intensity on offense, and that's what they've been doing all game long.
Absolutely. For Bolin Porter, by the way, his 5th goal of the season and 12th point. His first goal since returning from the SPHL. Here's Alvis playing pitch and catch with a man at the far side with Luciani, and a trailing shot by Soilis is shanked wide. Here's Crystal pitching it down low. Luciani back to Crystal for a one-time shot from the wall, is held by Dylan Kelly. Sharp angle there, but Dylan Kelly up to the task.
And Battle Creek needs a lot more of that. We saw on the previous possession in the zone an attacking move and then just not a strong shot attempt. Easy stop for Kelly. He covers it. This time, just a little shot against the wall, but just continue to pile on some of those opportunities. Eventually, a higher percentage shot will come.
Off the legs of Shinkarik. Now Shinkarik, Bronner enters in. Bronner squares to the net. Back past Shinkarik. Shinkarik fires and scores! Have a weekend, Carter Shinkarik. It's 7-1.
Wow, and he just picked his spot. Again, the second time we've seen that drop pass work for Danbury. Gavrik was the first one who let it off in the first period. Again, Morrissey got that goal. This is Shinkarik. He's got so much space around him. He's just able to pick his spot, bottom left. He saw the little gap there and just placed it there. An absolute burner. And doesn't matter who's in goal right now for Battle Creek. Danbury's finding a way to put it into the twine.
Carter Shinkarik's 2nd goal of the game and his 5th goal of the weekend. As Shinkarik remains red hot as Bolin Porter enters in, loses his footing, but keeps possession of the puck. And back to work go the hat-trick. Certainly no quit in this squad.
No.
And that was really the sense that you got in the post-game scrum after the game, as Hanlon has it in the corner. Hanlon with a setup in front, and Anderson had his stick tied up, is that there was a lack of contentment with their quality of play last night. Yes, it was a 5-0 victory. Tuma winds and fires, turned out by Hudson. Bouncing puck. Bolin Porter bangs it home! His 2nd of the game, it's 8-1.
Well, the stat crew that you can't keep up. And Kendall Bolin Porter, puck on the ice, opportunity in front, throw it to the front of the net. Good things are going to happen. Again, this is a traffic goal, and really one that Hudson's going to want back. Just goes off of the side of his blocker and into that same spot when Shinkarik just had his goal. And that's 2 goals in under a minute, Casey.
Well, just as we were mentioning, there was a lack of contentment with their play last night. They were dissatisfied with the fact that they only had 5. And you sensed the fire from interim head coach in the time being, John Krapinski, who said, well, this team really should be putting up more goals. We took our foot off the throttle in the 3rd period. We want to provide more pressure throughout the 60 minutes. Well, more pressure is right as back in they come. Here's Ruiz losing the handle on it. 8-1 is your score, and we haven't even reached the halfway point of the contest. As a weak try from Thomas goes wide. Soilis holds in the far circle. Soilis crossing the way. Thomas, open look to the net. Blocked in front by Garrett. So for Bolin Porter, his 6th of the season and his 2nd of the contest. Here's Alvis looking across the way for Luciani. It hops off his stick. And Gavrik will take it away. Here's Gavrik for Levesque, trying to muscle his way past Thomas. Can't connect. Levesque pitchforks it in ahead. Luciani will retrieve. Gavrik is in deep. Kasich turnover now. Back pass for Gavrik. Has McCreary in the high slot. Kasich behind the end line, calling for it, receiving Levesque. Set up in front intended for Shinkarik is broken up by the likes of Thomas, and he slings it down the length of the ice. It will not go for an icing, as Listmeyer will retrieve before the end line.
And Casey, they just announced Tim Hanlon going to get an assist on that goal for Kendall Bolin Porter, his 1st as a Danbury hat trick.
Not sure if that stands. That is, in fact, his 1st point, and good for Tim, who works very hard in practice, finding some open space. There's Dylan Kelly throwing a check on Tacno.
We saw it last night, Dylan Kelly using the body.
Dylan Kelly wanting to activate his physicality a bit. There you go. And Dylan Kelly is a big body. He stands at 6'5", hailing from Petoskey, Michigan. Bronner slides it to Morrissey. Morrissey in front, redirected by Shinkarik wide. That might have caught the stick of Susie instead. Bronner with a hard check to take the puck away. Now Morrissey.
Casey, officially those two goals 37 seconds apart.
A quick action and still hunting for more. Garrett at the far side point finds it. Long shot is blocked in front by Wolfe. Now another wrist shot is kicked out of the air by Susie and into the near side corner. And Morrissey loses the handle. Here's Shinkarik looking for Morrissey. Susie spinning around like a top. Shinkarik tries to pick a corner and rattles one off the glass and out into the neutral zone. And boy, Jack, you don't want to pile on, but there's no exit strategy for Battle Creek. As back in comes Morrissey, open space. Bolin Porter for the Hattie. Yes, sir! Sending the hats, it's Kendall Bolin Porter for the third time tonight.
Wow, what an effort from KBP. He moves down the slot area, stick handle, and then again goes to that low right blocker. Low right pad, and he beats Hudson once again, and for the second time we see hats on the ice tonight. Incredible, incredible. And Kendall Bolin Porter, we just said, he doesn't score too many goals. He's got 3 in one game here. He's got 3 in one period.
So Kendall Bolin Porter with a hat trick, his first as a member of the hat tricks. And we've got a top hat still loose out on the ice, and good for Bolin Porter, who gets a hug from Carter Shinkarik as he makes his way back to the bench and taps of approval. And you talk about hard workers. Bolin Porter plays a full 200-foot game, and he should be rewarded with a little offensive output from time to time.
Absolutely. He's a grinder type, if you will. Plays well on the penalty kill, plays well on power play, whatever situation you put him in, you have confidence in what he can produce. And some guys are feeling it some days, and Carter Shinkarik said that yesterday. He said it just comes to the point where some guys are just meant to have a day, and hey, it might be Kendall Bolin Porter's day.
So after we had what we thought was a hat trick in Shane Morrissey, a couple of hats hit the ice, and that was taken away. Now we have a hat trick for real for Kendall Bolin Porter. Dearson will get an assist, and Shane Morrissey will get another point. Morrissey just tacking on to what is already an impressive point total. And Morrissey with an explosive offensive debut with the Danbury hat tricks in these last couple of weekends. Had 2 points, 2 goals in 2 games against Elmira, and now he's got himself a multi-point weekend against Battle Creek. I mean, that's the kind of introduction. We saw it with Nick DiNicola when he played his first few games with the Danbury hat tricks, but Shane Morrissey might have one-upped him a little bit as he just continues to provide offense for the hat tricks.
And it's that next guy up mentality. You come in here and you're not expected to take your time and get used to things. When you're added to this team, you're expected to be successful right away, and that expectation has usually been met with results.
Into the near side corner it goes. Now Bolin Porter leads Dearson. Shot is stripped from behind by Thomas. Dearson behind the end line, looking for the wraparound try. Hudson had his paddle on the ice. Was able to stymie that chance. And we'll get a delayed call here as going against, I believe, the Danbury hat tricks.
Yeah, it's going to be Corey Anderson. They're either going to get him for a hook or a high stick. Not sure if he got it up. Yeah, it's going to be a hook. Got his stick up a little bit underneath the armpit area of one of the Rumblebees. He wasn't happy about it, voicing his displeasure with the official there after that call. But again, these are the moments where Battle Creek has to say, let's put a stop to the bleeding here and get back on the board.
Shinkarik wins it back to the near side corner, but holding on to it are the Rumblebees as they try to generate some offense and find an answer as a long shot by Crystal is redirected in front and up into the netting it goes. Crystal out with Thomas on the blue line. Alvis, Wolfe, and Degnaud are the forwards.
And are you surprised about that combination?
No, not at all. I will say from this angle that we have in 104, it is very hard to tell Alvis and Wolfe apart because the numbers on their sweaters are they are righties and lefties. Mm-hmm. So like you do have that difference to help. Oof. But I tell you, the 7 looks like a 1 with the stripes on the back of the Battle Creek jersey. It's not. These were not sweaters designed with a broadcaster in mind. Up to Daigneault, who crosses the blue line, trying to get past Listmayer. His backhander is rifled wide. And Tuma will spring now Shinkarik, who will pitchfork it down the length of the ice. And Thomas locks a flowing from the back of his helmet or pursue.
Danbury catches a break, too, because Dylan Kelly's stick got flung into the corner there, so he had to go get it.
Holding on to it is Menton. Looking to his right, evades Casper Dearson, and Battle Creek keeping their feet moving. Menton with a nifty move, and a wrist shot hits off the elbow of Dylan Kelly.
A really good move there for Menton. He puts it in a good spot, too, and Kelly just enough to fight it off.
And Menton screaming at the official now as that shot is held onto by Dylan Kelly. Menton had his stick being held by Kenny Garrett, and Menton tried to tomahawk it out of the hands of Garrett. Garrett was holding onto that stick. Garrett got away with it.
Yeah, he did, and the dramatic swing after he finally got it free from the grasp of Kenny Garrett from Brett Menton. He's had some choice words a couple times. Remember, he got sent to the penalty box for an unsportsmanlike conduct earlier in this game, so he has to be careful.
It'll be cleared and sent down the length of the ice with 35 seconds to go on the power play before Anderson is able to rejoin the fun. And if nothing else, this power play provides a respite for Morgan Hudson because at least the puck now is on the opposite end of the ice. As now here's McNary, take a step in, open, look to the net, picks a corner and scores. Connor McNary with a power play goal, his first goal as a member of the Rumblebees. And sarcastic standing ovation for the Battle Creek Rumblebees. 102 is on their feet to applaud the Rumblebees scoring on the power play.
Well, and
Yikes.
McNary just has so much time and space. He's able to pick his spot, much like Shinkarik's previous goal. We just have all day to shoot. Nobody's coming into you. You could pick your spot. It's an easy shot and release there. Dylan Kelly can't stop that one when it's practically bar down. And linesman Chris Pimentel just grabbed the puck for McNary to hold on to.
McNary skating in his fourth game as a member of the Battle Creek Rumblebees. And as we were saying, it provided a respite for Morgan Hudson, but back in come the tricks. Here's Bolin Porter crossing to Tuma with Anderson getting a screen. Tuma steps in, kick save by Hudson out to the far side point. Now feeds Dearson for the one-timer. That one's kicked out. Excuse me, getting a left shoulder on it was Morgan Hudson. So you get a goal, you get a couple of big stops on some high-danger chances, and this is what you want for Battle Creek. You want the small battles to add up to something, and now they have a 2-on-1. Taking a step in, Alvis looking to the net. Sharp angle try is held by Dylan Kelly, and we reach the media timeout with 6:11 to go in the second period. Well, at the very least, Jack, the last few shifts for Battle Creek have been a significant improvement.
Absolutely. Positive is definitely the word for those shifts. You get a goal on the power play, that's important. A team that struggled on the power play all season long. They don't convert much, and you finally get one here, and then you make a couple of good saves. You have to just feel good if you're Morgan Hudson. Hey, I made 2 strong saves on that last shift. That feels really good. And, hey, maybe you use a little bit of the jeering from the crowd to motivate you to try to come back and try to spark something here in this one. Still some work to do, but there's 26 minutes, 11 seconds left in this game over about 22 minutes of intermission time as well. So you have some time where you can say, hey, guys, there are a couple things that are working for us. Let's take those positives and let's run with them.
While we have a moment to pause here, we want to remind you to follow the Danbury Hat Tricks on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Subscribe to the Danbury Hat Tricks YouTube channel for live game streams, exclusive behind-the-scenes footage, interviews, highlights, and more. And join our mailing list at danburyhattricks.com, where you can get your tickets for next weekend's marquee matchup with the Western Division leading Carolina Thunderbirds, who will be in town Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night.
I'll talk about a head-turning series, Casey. 3 games right here on the Hat Tricks YouTube channel against 2 powerhouses right now in this league.
Yeah, there's not going to be a more exciting matchup than that one, and it'll be nice for us to call a game against Carolina for a change. Drew Blevins and company and Kelly Curl had the broadcast for the home series down in Carolina, and they had the series in Bloomington, as now we get some drop in the gloves action. Here's Daigneault back dropping the gloves once again with Matthias Kasich, and he forces him down. So Daigneault letting off a bit of steam as he hands Kasich a few rights.
Yeah, Kasich, he got a couple of uppercuts right to the chin area. He was unable to do anything because he kind of got locked up a little bit, dropped to the ground, couldn't get any punches in. Daigneault gets a couple of good ones, and they'll both sit. I think McCreary's going to go, too, for something, Casey.
McCreary will also go into the penalty box. I'm sure McCreary will join perhaps for some sort of instigation, or they might be assessing a misconduct to Matthias Kasich so that McCreary can rejoin the action when all is said and done. We'll get the official ruling from public address announcer Christian Gardecki. Boy, now not only do you have a lot of ink being used on the goals and assists, now you have to add all the penalties being assessed.
Goodness.
We do want to give a special shout-out to our statistician crew. We have Alex Oleshko as our off-ice official, joined by Roger Katz, Cooper McLean, and Grace McNamara. We want to thank them for their devoted support throughout the entire season and all their hard work. And they've certainly been kept busy here this evening.
Hopefully they have a couple of extra pens down there. They might be running out of ink. A couple extra sheets of paper.
Well, I like to think I keep pretty organized notes myself, but I'm scrambling around trying to find some open space in my margins here at this point. It's been a busy, busy weekend.
Yeah, there's not much space you could put the rest of the infractions or goals that occur. And we're really over a third left of this game, too. Still a chunk of time left, and there's...
That is the crazy thing, because the game has been going long, especially with the delayed start. You know, the game was scheduled for 8 p.m. tonight, and, you know, there's high school games that happened before this, so puck drop was delayed a little bit, and we appreciate the patience on the part of the fan base tuning in. If it's certainly fit 9:45, ordinarily we're wrapping up a regular season contest at this point, and here we are still with 6 minutes to go in the second period. So I hope you guys have had your coffee, because you've got a late night of hockey action, and it doesn't have any signs of slowing.
Coffee, hot chocolate with coffee in it. That's what I did.
That was your pregame beverage.
It
That's
was.
Right. I don't drink anything with caffeine, so it's I have to rely on my natural energy level.
A lot of water, right?
Yeah, I guess. As Morrissey loses the handle on it. I got through college the same way. I don't drink soda. I don't drink coffee. And yet there I was pulling all-nighters trying to get my papers done. Marist education got me somewhere at least.
Yeah.
Got me here. As Morgan Hudson will flop down rather dramatically on the puck as it was trickling towards him, and he'll hold on to it with 5:28 to go on the second.
And officially it's going to be 2 minutes for sportsmanlike for Billy McCreary, the second time he's gotten that called against him tonight. Of course, he got called for the interference as well.
Yes.
On the double minor.
Hey, he's got to be careful. He's spending a lot of time in the penalty box for someone who doesn't play very often. He is the head coach of the Hat-Tricks, playing in his fourth game, and he's already got, to this point, 26 penalty minutes as that shot gets rifled wide and up into the netting. And the Zamboni crew will have to pick that one up and toss it back into play. They'll give it to a kid over in the stand. You want to feel like the kids get the souvenirs.
Of course, a nice game puck, game-used puck. It's the best souvenir you could get.
I will say they do have a propensity to fly it, because you do have that specialty 200 section overlooking the ice. So if you get the right redirection, you're hanging over that ice, you could have something coming flying towards you. You got to be aware.
And we saw it yesterday. A puck just shot right into section 101 here on the near side.
That's right. You got to always be alert. Watch out for flying pucks. That is always the warning beforehand, as Bolin Porter takes the puck away and sends it out towards Listmeyer. Loses the sight of the puck. Luciani up to Soilis. Soilis to Alvis. Has it on his backhand. Down low for Luciani. A backhander that gets shanked wide. Anderson is off to the races, calling for the puck if they can find him. Dearson will amble his way into the attacking zone. Flittering puck to Anderson, settles it down. Weak wrist shot is turned out by Hudson. Another bouncing puck in front is blocked by Bush Anderson, and he sends it up into the 200s.
There you go.
Again, you got to be aware.
Connects with the basing just below the
railing there.
metal railing.
If not for, I believe, that glass partition that might have found its way into the Fairfield County Bank Premium Suites. And up in that suite section tonight, you can see a couple of the scratches for the Danbury Hat-Tricks. Aaron Atwell, Steve Brown, also a scratch tonight. Gordy Bonnell sitting enjoying the game from the padded section up there. His long shot is held by Hudson. You yourself can find yourself up in the Premium Suite section by logging on to danburyhattricks.com/suites. Inquire about availability today, and you can have the best seats in the house overlooking center ice and get a complimentary tray of wings from the queue.
Fantastic restaurant. We had their shredded brisket sandwich. Great Sue from the queue. Joe Yorio's business, a fantastic place to get some barbecue food. Their wings are outstanding.
Yeah.
A great place to enjoy a Hat-Tricks hockey game up there.
Yeah, I tell you what, I had it for that because I'm not a Danburian. I hail from the Hudson Valley in New York, and I haven't really had time to sample the local flavor. Had their steak sandwich the other day. It was excellent. Ruiz cuts to the high slot, wires a wrist shot, blocked in front by Crystal. Crystal slow to get out, bouncing puck out in front, over to Hanlon, whacking at it, and Hudson covers. And you could tell Ruiz had a look to the net, but he wanted to set up Hanlon. Hanlon is without a goal on the season. They were trying to set him up in front.
Yeah, absolutely. With that much of a cushion lead, you try to look for the guy who's worked so hard and rightfully deserving of a goal. Just couldn't get it to him. Puck's bouncing a little bit too much, and by that time, Battle Creek's able to get some bodies in front, and Hudson's able to fall on top of it.
Face-off will be to the left of Hudson, one back by Shinkarik and looping around the kick plate. Bronner, Shinkarik, and Morrissey out for the Hat-Tricks, countered by Soilis, Menton, and Luciani. Menton has it in his midsection. Menton carrying it up the ice. Stops short at the blue line, flips it towards the net, looking to chip it towards the goal is Luciani, and blocking it in front is Cruz Listmayer. I believe it found its way through to Kelly, but Listmayer was right there with him.
Yeah, that's an impressive redirection from Luciani. Listmayer might have gotten a little piece, but then it gets through to Kelly, and you have to give an impressive pat on the back, too, for DK, because he makes that save on a funky redirection. Way to hang in there, and you kind of see he wasn't exactly sure where it was, just sitting right underneath the butterfly position.
3.5 minutes to go here in the second period. 9-2 is your score in favor of the Danbury Hat-Tricks. Here's Shinkarik entering in. Shinkarik just offside, as Shane Morrissey was a little bit ahead of the play.
Yeah, he was trying to drag so bad to keep that foot on the blue line, but just a bit too much. Probably go back to the replay and see maybe 6 inches
You don't have
less.
You don't have the benefit of NBC it here with the slow motion, where it looks like they're holding like a Nintendo Switch, like that kind of sized screen to evaluate the replays.
Yeah, Microsoft Surface.
Yeah, it's a very small screen in hockey, though. It's not even as big as a Surface, I don't think. It certainly doesn't seem that way. I mean, when
iPad Mini.
When replay was first introduced, it looked like they were holding like the old Nintendo DS. Or it was just a microscopic screen. You wondered how they saw anything as Soilis has a wrist shot go over the cage. Here's Shinkarik entering in. Slicing and dicing, gets it over and rings it off the crossbar. Shinkarik with a hard wrister, hunting for even more. Keeps it alive, maintaining the perimeter, trying to drag it around Luciani. Whacked away by Soilis, and Shinkarik will retreat. It goes up into the midsection of McCreary, who was still on the wrong side of the blue line, and we'll get a stoppage of play. 2:35 to go.
You kind of feel at this point of the game a little bit of back and forth action. A couple of shots that whisker wide on both ends. And Carter Shinkarik flirting with another hat trick tonight. Just ringing the underside of that bar there, just next to the corner of the goalpost and the crossbar. Really good shot placement from him. He's really seeing the goal very well.
Long pass finds its way to Anderson, has it in the high slot, squares to the net, paddled out by Hudson, it goes into the corner. And the puck was bouncing on Anderson just a little bit. Bolin Porter takes it away from Alvis. McCreary, long wrist shot, redirected in front by Dearson. Hudson got a piece. And the traffic in front has really been the most marked improvement from last weekend to this. And we mentioned it yesterday. It's a different style of play that Battle Creek plays compared to Elmira. It's much less physical. and you also have to remove the Mafuz factor. But this has been excellent practice for the Hat-Tricks to get bodies in front of the net because they will need as much traffic as possible looking ahead to next weekend.
Absolutely, and the best thing for that is the fact that they're connecting, too.
Yes.
It's one thing to go to the net and get a couple of deflections, but if they're not finding the back of the net, sometimes you get a little bit discouraged. They're connecting pretty much every time they're down there. They're good chances when you're getting redirections. So that's the positive thing, and if you're firing away on all cylinders like they are, you need all the momentum you can get coming into next weekend. I think it's very important that those 3 games are here in Danbury versus down in Carolina.
The travel factor is certainly huge. Carolina is on the eastern seaboard, but it is still a trek to get up, especially on those unforgiving bus rides. Luciani takes a step in, and a wrist shot is blocked in front. Tuma picks it up and joins the rush. Enters in with Levesque on the right wing. Tuma to the net. Levesque hits it off a defender, bouncing around in front. Blocker saved by Hudson. Hanlon was there in front. Hanlon now will cycle it with Levesque in the final minute of play in the second. Hanlon takes a check. Soilis picks it up for Battle Creek. Now puck squirts out to the center of the neutral zone. Thomas picks it up, enters in, trying to get around Tuma. Tuma with a nifty stick check to knock the puck away. Picked up by Luciani and wires it towards Kelly, who will swallow it up.
Good shift there for Marty Tuma. Missed 3 games of the suspension, but creates a nice little shot block and then generates some offense back the other way. He tries to get involved. Tim Hanlon with a good shot on goal on the backhand. And then back here on this play, a strong defensive stick in that right-hand circle next to Kelly. Eventually, Kelly gets that second chance opportunity, makes the save for the faceoff.
Faceoff won by Alvis. Wolfe looking for the blind setup in front. No one was home. 30 seconds to go in the period. Here's McCreary sending it out towards the center of the zone. A shot attempt is blocked by Gavrik. Long saucer pass, lifted up into the air, finds Morrissey. Home run pass in the waning seconds. Morrissey leaves it for Bronner. Set up in front. Morrissey wide. Bronner with Gavrik at the point. Finds him. McCreary's across the way. They instead look for Morrissey down low. Keeps it behind the end line. Shinkarik. 3 seconds to go in the period. Shinkarik will keep his back to the net. One last shot attempt is turned out by Hudson. Hudson angrily swipes at the puck from the far side post. And, well, he has reason to be frustrated. He allows 4 goals in the period. And Battle Creek finds themselves on the wrong side of a 9-2 score. The Danbury Hat-Tricks record for goals in a game is 10, set against these same Battle Creek Rumblebees back on November 23rd.
It was a 10-2 game in that one, and Danbury just pouring it on, continuing to find ways to score. Battle Creek gets their goal on the power play. But again, you have to give so much credit to Kendall Bolin Porter, a hat trick in that period, and it spanned over just a couple of minutes. He was just all over the ice, and we mentioned how good Danbury's been around the Battle Creek net. They continue to find ways to score, whether it's Kendall Bolin Porter or others, even Tim Hanlon getting involved. Everyone wants a chance at finding the back of the net in this one.
Well, we have an intermission coming up here. We'll be back in 20 minutes when the ice is cut. You're watching Danbury Hat-Tricks Hockey on the Hat-Tricks YouTube channel. Casey Bryant alongside Jack O'Mara. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to live coverage of the Danbury Hat Tricks on the Hat Tricks YouTube channel. Casey Bryant alongside Jack O'Mara. We're getting ready for the start of the third period, but before we head down to the ice, here now is Jack O'Mara with your FPHL out-of-town scoreboard.
Thanks so much, Casey. 4 other games in action tonight, and they've gone final down in Carolina. The Thunderbirds smoke the Mentor Icebreakers 7-2 at the Winston-Salem Annex, and a tight one in between two Western Division matchup. Danville Dashers dropped the game against Columbus River Dragons. A 3-2 victory for Columbus down in Georgia. So a good victory for them across the board. Danbury obviously with the 9-2 lead there. And Watertown defeats Delaware in Delaware by a score of 6-4. Elmira does take the victory against Port Huron after dropping last night. The Enforcers get the 5-2 victory up in New York against Port Huron. So those are two teams that Danbury obviously doesn't necessarily want to see win, but they get some victories today, ever so important ones. Still some good size lead in the Eastern Division for Danbury.
And if you're Delaware, that's a frustrating loss because you're right in that game with Watertown. I believe at one point Delaware was leading the Watertown Wolves. That's a frustrating loss. Delaware at one point led 2-1 heading into the second period, and well, then the top line took over for Watertown. You have Bogjoul getting a couple of points, Kyle Powell in the lineup. Joseph Devaney back after a brief SPHL call-up. He was making an impact, and really there's only so much Ryan Marker can do as the primary driver of offense. But I tell you, who got a couple points for the Delaware Thunder that game is Anthony Pisano. Has a goal and an assist in the game. A former Danbury.
Yeah.
Played with the Whalers back in the day. A fan favorite with the Danbury Whalers at that, given his propensity to drop the gloves. But anyway, back here at Danbury Arena, the Danbury Hat Tricks take a 9-2 lead into the third period. An eventful second period that had a goal by Carter Shinkarik and a hat trick by Kendall Bolin-Porter, his first as a professional. And what a night that is for Kendall Bolin-Porter, really. He's been buzzing offensively all night.
He has been. He's had a really strong weekend, and it's starting to really show up in the scorer column, obviously. He's finally getting the payout that he's deserved, and 3 goals in one period. That feels pretty good.
And we have a goaltending replacement for the Danbury Hat Tricks. Dylan Kelly will get the third period off. Nick Nieder will get a tune-up appearance for the Danbury Hat Tricks. So given a 7-goal lead, they want to get Nick Nieder some work. Nieder played back on December the 28th. And he got a win in that game against the Elmira Enforcers. Nick Nieder stopped 30 of 32. Since then, he has not made an appearance, although he did travel down to Reading. So he did have that under his belt, a little ECHL stint, his 9th of his illustrious career. So Nieder will get a chance to flash his black and orange pads for the Danbury faithful. Hat Tricks will be skating from left to right on your YouTube screen. Ruiz sends it up to Kasich, who flips it ahead for Ruiz, who enters in with speed. Throws a check on Thomas, but forgets the puck behind him. Tuma with a long shot that's fielded on the short hop by Morgan Hudson.
All right away, 16 seconds in, a little nice 1-2 punch. Johnny Ruiz just out of his reach. Haven't said his name too many times over these past couple of games, but you haven't really needed to, especially in this series. Obviously plenty of scoring around, but he's had a quiet couple of games for Danbury.
Well, if you're Battle Creek at this point, you're coming out of the intermission, you're trailing by 7 goals. Jack, if you're Adam Steele in that locker room, you're looking around, your club is on the verge of becoming 1-32. What words of encouragement are you trying to find for your squad as a setup in front, as Kasich trying to shove it home and can't? What are you saying in that locker room to try to keep things light and keep things positive?
I think you just stay positive. I think that's the biggest thing right now. Obviously, you can't get too down on yourselves. This is a wide margin to come back to. Just try to look forward as much as you can and just keep your head up and play hard.
Short-term memory, that is essential, really, in hockey. And it's just that short-term memory becomes harder and harder to acquire when you're getting blown out for another time for the Battle Creek Rumblebees.
And that's why, that's part of the challenge of being a head coach is to try to find those statements of encouragement when everything seems to be going wrong for so long. you almost run out of things to say.
Yeah, not only did you not get the performance out of your starting netminder that you wanted to, but you also were missing several of your players to injury. You lost Adam Howie, who was who was your best forward yesterday. He's done. Maxim Noskov is done as a player is down, and now we get some extracurriculars. That's Soilis who's down on the ice. And tussling is Kenny Garrett, as Kenny Garrett throws a couple of left-handed jabs. So Soilis went down, and Kenny Garrett answers the call, as I believe down on the ice for Battle Creek. Brett, I believe that was 27, John Champlain, excuse me. Again, the 7s and 1s look too similar. I thought it might be Brett Menton, but no, it is John Champlain.
Yeah, Champlain just coming in, sees his teammate Soilis get hit up a little high, just didn't want to take any of that, and Kenny Garrett retaliates, obviously, to protect himself from the fight, and those two will go down for 5 minutes. We'll see if anything else comes to Champlain, possibly for coming in, and we'll see if Garrett gets anything. Obviously, the arm went up when he hit Soilis, so there might be multiple penalties on each player.
Well, again, credit to the statistician crew, because we get yet another penalty being assessed after a long, eventful night of goals and penalties, and it's been a busy weekend for sure at Danbury Arena. And we've seen the bad blood boil over. Even the last time the Rumblebees paid a visit here, when in that 10-2 game, there were still 3 fights.
Yeah.
Johnny Ruiz dropped the gloves in that game. Matthias Kasich dropped them. Vlad Gavrik dropped them. And I believe Carter Shinkarik actually also, I believe there were 4 fights. I believe Carter Shinkarik also got into a fight that night.
And Johnny Ruiz will serve some time here on the minor penalty. Yeah, you got a cross-check to Garrett, so Ruiz will serve that time, Casey.
So the Rumblebees will get a power play opportunity. The Rumblebees do have a power play goal on the evening, that being scored by Connor McNary. Long shot is blocked in front. Back pass now to Stone, as at the far circle. Stone stands still, cycles it down low for Steele. Steele has behind the end line with him Wolfe. Menton and Crystal, a couple of former hat tricks, also out on the ice for the power play. Hudson will settle the puck down in the behind the end line. Taken away by Bolin Porter, squares to the net, glove save by Hudson. Kendall Bolin Porter says thank you very much.
Yeah, not much better chances you'll get in a game like that one. Just pick your pocket and then say, how do you do a huge save for Hudson?
Well, lucky he was on the balls of his feet on that one. That was a hard risk.
Yeah.
If Bolin Porter was hunting for his 4th, he would have doubled his goal total in one night. Listmayer flings it against the glass, but not out. Luciani, halfway through this power play, has Alvis behind the end line, finds him. Alvis behind the cage to Soilis. McNary over to Soilis once more. Long wrist shot blocked in front. Bolin Porter swings and bats it down, and the Hat-Tricks will go off for a full 4-man change. Almost a takeaway in front of Shane Morrissey is puck hawking as he's aggressively in on the forecheck.
That's a dangerous pass. McNary just hanging on for dear life. Morrissey kind of barreling down on top of him. Very, very dangerous area in the ice to put that puck.
15 seconds to go in the power play. Squaring and shooting is Thomas, and he rifles one wide. Taking a step in, Alvis slings it down low. Thomas in front, paddled aside by Niedert, and batted out of the air, and that will do it for the power play. And some hoots and hollers of approval from the Danbury Hat-Tricks faithful as they come off victorious in that penalty kill. Out towards Niedert. Niedert directs traffic. He settles it down for Cruz Listmayer. Niedert, another goaltender who is very comfortable fielding the puck and perhaps likes to come out of his net and play. A backhander by Bolin Porter is blocked in front and sent into the corner. We saw, especially in that game on the 28th, Jack, when Nick Niedert would come out aggressively to play the puck, it was almost as if he wasn't always on the same page as his defenders because he fields it even more so than normal. Dylan Kelly comes out to play the puck, but Nick Niedert to the extreme. does that.
He's almost a sixth player out on the ice. I mean, he is the sixth player, but he's almost a skater, if you will, in some situations. And you kind of have to trust. And the problem there is Nick Nieder doesn't play as much, so you're not used to the tendencies for the goaltender. So that's a big part of the defenders saying, hey, wow, he's coming out really, really far for this one. I thought I was going to go and grab it, but the goaltender's doing the work for me.
It's a very Brodorian approach, as there's Nieder behind the net to play it. Martin Brodeur, obviously, one of many things he's famous for is his ability to play the puck. He did score a goal in his NHL career. Alves to the net, kick saved by Nieder. Puck trickling towards the goal line, cleared out by Ruiz. And Ruiz gets a fist bump from Nick Nieder. Awesome. And hanging by the Hat-Trick's net is Stavros Soilis. That goes for an icing, and seems like there's a very pleasant conversation going on in front of Nieder.
Yeah, a couple of former teammates. Johnny Ruiz there, too, saying some things to Stavros Soilis, who spent some time here in Danbury, a couple weekends.
Soilis was on the opening night roster. Played in the first ever game in Hat-Trick's history against the Port Huron Prowlers. Kasich will take the draw against Alves. Kasich wins it over to Tuma. Now Listmeyer with a long stretch pass intended for Ruiz. Hops off the stick. Hudson will come out of his net. Cycle it over to Levesque along the boards. Levesque fans on a shot attempt. Is forced into the boards by Bush Anderson. Now picked up by Soilis. 5.5 minutes gone by here in the final frame. So far, only one shot on goal registered aside. Into the corner. Taken away by Ruiz and lifted up and out.
We're seeing a little bit more kind of the dump and chase game for Danbury. Battle Creek, a lot more possession time, Casey.
You're starting to play a bit more of prevent defense, really, and sort of make sure you escape this game with everyone healthy. And you've already had a couple of bouts of fisticuffs this weekend, I'm sure, and we had a couple players injured as a result of it on both sides. A sharp angle try is blocked in front off the legs of Menton. You just want to make sure that you leave with your sanity intact as well. Shenkarik flips it up ahead. Crystal settles it down for the Bees. Up to Menton, one-touch pass. Miscommunication a bit with Dagno, but Menton enters in, and Menton taken down by Gavrik.
Oh, yeah, lay the lumber there. Vlad Gavrik leads with the shoulder. Clean hit, and Menton, that's a good play for Gavrik because, you know, he's not a guy who's going to go for the puck, and it's one of those plays where you say, hey, I'm just going to go for the body here. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. That time it worked very well.
2-on-1, Morrissey squares to the net, blocker saved by Hudson, and you are right, Jack, and especially since Vlad Gavrik, 6'4", 220, one of the biggest bodies on the Hat-Tricks. Here's Morrissey again, between the legs, looks for the glove save.
Wow, what a couple of good shots there for Morrissey. The first one, he opens his body up, looking to pass, and then just a quick shot, gets a piece of the blocker, and then this one, just the space there. Morrissey trying something fancy here with the 7-goal cushion.
Seven minutes gone by. Hanlon with a sharp angle try that goes wide. Tuma unable to keep it into the zone, so he'll retreat. Up to Anderson on the right wing. Anderson with Hanlon to the net. Anderson crosses the slot. Has Bolin Porter in front as well. His shot attempt is blocked up into the air. Hanlon will pursue in the corner. Being checked from behind by Bush Anderson. Still fighting for it. Winning it away is Anderson. Setting it up towards Bolin Porter. Now taking a step in. Tuma. His long wrist shot finds glass. And that rattles out.
Yeah, they're trying to get it over to Porter. Kendall Bolin Porter, and it just was blocked in the traffic, and then Tuma steps in and just misses the net there. Good chance.
Anderson enters in once more. Long wrist shot blocked. Now McCreary will settle it down. Lifts it towards Hudson. Bouncing puck will be fought off. Hudson trying to avoid a Vesatoskala situation where the puck bounces past him on a wonky bounce. Kept his body in front of it. Hanlon with a good takeaway in the neutral zone. Leads Ruiz, enters in with Kasich. Here's Kasich looking to that backhander in front intended for Ruiz. Is blocked by a defender. Sitting on the blue line, kept in by Gavrik. Kasich, Ruiz, and Levesque out the forward line unit for the Hat-Tricks.
Yeah, good couple of plays there. Jason Stone stopping the attack there for Ruiz and Kasich. Here's another one.
Holding on to it in the corner, Stone. Waiting for options. The Hat Tricks sitting back much more in the third period, deciding that perhaps their three-man forecheck unit can rest a bit here in the third period, protecting a 9-2 lead. Although the Hat Tricks are still one off of their all-time single-game goal record set against the Rumblebees, as that's a nice save on a sharp angle by Niedert. So they are still chasing history if they can get another one, and leading Shinkarik on cue, a shot, and that's fought off by Hudson.
Yeah, really good save with the right pad there, Casey, and Shinkarik searching for yet another one, just misses.
Now Morrissey loses the handle on it for a moment, no one around, so Bronner will settle things down.
And you're seeing they're taking their time and taking a step back in this game, but when the opportunities are presenting themselves, they're not hesitating to jump at them. They're not just going out of their way to look for them. That's the thing right now.
Shinkarik, back pass for Listmeyer. We're halfway through the third period. Out towards the neutral zone it goes. The Danbury Hat Tricks winding things down here at Danbury Arena in preparation for a 3-game set against the Carolina Thunderbirds. You can join us on Friday night for Auto Worker Appreciation Night. Anyone from a mechanic to a salesman to parts to service, anyone in the automotive industry. We're saying thank you to those who keep our engines running on a daily basis. So visit danburyhattricks.com/auto to sign up for that. And, of course, you can win a Jamaican vacation on Saturday by wearing your finest green, yellow, and black. 3 nights at a Barrowstar Rose Hall Beach in Jamaica. Not too shabby as we hit 30 degrees outside today as Dearson's shot goes into the B on Hudson's sweater.
A stacked weekend we have coming up here, Casey.
That's true. And I tell you what, we also have Youth Sports Night coming up on Friday the 31st as well, where all young athletes in the Danbury area, they can represent their Little League, Pop Warner, lacrosse, track and field, whatever team. Go to danburyhattricks.com/youth sports to sign up for that, where one lucky team in attendance will receive a team sponsorship from the Danbury Hat Tricks. And who wouldn't want to represent the Rabbits? I tell you what.
Good team.
There's a Little League team, I believe it's in Ohio, that is the hometown of the Black Keys, the rock band. And the Black Keys sponsored their Little League team.
Oh, that's awesome.
So they're like wearing
That's
Black
awesome.
Keys jerseys.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
How about a black and orange baseball jersey? That'd be incredible.
I'm trying to think. Are there the Baltimore Orioles? There you go. That's that color scheme. The Orioles have some of my favorite jerseys in the league, really. Those orange alternates.
Yeah, they're incredible.
Yeah, Camden Yards is great. Have you ever been to Camden Yards?
I have not. It's on my bucket list.
Oh,
it's probably going to
great.
be the first ballpark
It's
that
fantastic.
I visit. Of course, Citi Field, Yankee Stadium, both new and old.
The standards.
Shea,
Yep.
Fenway. I think that's next on my list.
I tell you what, if you're going to venture for a ballpark and still kind of stay in this time zone, I would say Baltimore and Pittsburgh are the two that are must-sees. Because Pittsburgh, you're right on the river. You've got the bridges and the vista. That's a great view. And Camden Yards, you've got Boog Powell's Barbecue out in right field. And that alone is worth the price of admission.
Just the name.
Well, Boog Powell, of course, the first baseman for the '69 Orioles back when they were in the World Series against the New York Metropolitans. Boog was a big hitter, and, well, he's only gotten bigger really in retirement, not to be mean, but, I mean, he does make a mean barbecue, and I would sample my own supply if that were the case as well. Go
now
ahead.
you know where to get barbecue, both in Danbury and in
Baltimore.
Baltimore.
Look, I must have barbecue on the mind here. Maybe it's because I didn't have dinner. I'm just hungry.
We're going to have some nice leftover burgers.
That's true. We'll hit up the rabbit hole after the game, which if you're in Danbury Arena, you can see the newly renovated concession area in the main concourse, the rabbit hole.
Great fine additions
this
week.
You've got some new combo meals, the McCreary, one of them. You've got the Bronner special deal, which is a burger, large fry, large soda for just $10. We got some good options down there. And, of course, we have I don't want to spoil it for her if she's listening, but we do have a birthday cake awaiting for our own Kim McNamara, who's our concessions manager at Danbury Arena. A very happy birthday tonight to Kim.
Yeah, absolutely. She's enjoying the game up in the suites tonight as well.
With her family,
yeah.
As well she should, because she works very hard, and we're all extremely thankful to have Kim on our staff. I wish her nothing but the best, and celebrating her birthday in style here at Danbury Arena.
Yeah. Looks like Johnny Ruiz going to go off here, Casey. We'll see what they get him for. I didn't see it. It might have been behind the play.
I was too busy thinking about the cake.
Yeah.
So a power play upcoming for the Battle Creek Rumble Bees. High sticking the call against Ruiz. And it'll be immediately cleared down the length of the ice, and Hudson will go to work.
And Battle Creek has connected, obviously, in the power play once tonight, but you have to look at this whole weekend as a whole for Danbury. Their penalty kill is absolutely fantastic. Great chances in the offensive zone, even with the man down. Really good surrounding their goaltender and giving him protection, whether it's been Nick Nieder or Dylan Kelly.
Well, this is the kind of repetition that they've needed as a puck is redirected behind the end line. You know, the Danbury Hat-Tricks penalty kill has been struggling this season, coming in at 79% efficiency, and really, as a long shot is stopped by Nieder and cleared by Shinkarik. And this is exactly the kind of work that you needed. They did allow a power play goal today, but still, you want to practice as a cohesive unit. You want to get everyone involved, make sure you're on the same page, and it's a good chance to just practice your systems.
Yep.
Muscle memory. 7 minutes remains in the third period. 50 seconds to go in the penalty to Johnny Ruiz. Tied up along the boards. One away by Soilis as a man at the point, and Thomas finds him, crosses the way to Crystal. As Bolin Porter sneaking up behind him. Crystal trying to evade the check. Bolin Porter brings him down to the ice. Picking it up is Champlain. He takes a check now from behind from Timmy Hanlon. Crystal to the high slot. Thomas winds and fires it off Crystal's skates, and Crystal will shake his head frustratedly as he wore that one in his boot.
Yeah, he worked hard there on the near side boards, and he just came across, and that's a good idea. Again, blue line down for Battle Creek just simplifies things a little bit, but it's tough when your own man's in the way.
Champlain crosses the way. That'll do it for the power play. The Rumble Bees get one shot on Nick Nieder, and then get another one as the penalty expires, and Nieder will cover it up with 6:03 to go.
And that's the smart play there. Nieder's got that near side post, and Listmayer does a very good job at protecting his blocker side, so it's effectively two goalies. So you figure you shoot at the guy who's maybe leaning a little bit on that near side post, but a nice job there by Nick Nieder, even with that close range shot, to swallow it up and get a good angle.
Nieder has stopped all three shots that have come his way in the period. Not a very heavy workload for Nick Nieder, but nevertheless, just being in the action and getting mentally prepared is enough. And with 3 games coming up next weekend, you never know how heavily they will lean on Dylan Kelly as Shane Morrissey and Kenny Garrett come together, and they're upended, and they get a few whistles from the crowd as Morrissey comes up smiling a bit.
A couple times, a couple hat tricks bumped into each other and both hit the deck.
You're bobbing and weaving, and if you don't time it exactly right, you go down. Garrett will dump it in deep, blockered aside by Hudson. Now behind the net, Bronner out to the point. Kenny Garrett as Gavrik across the way. Garrett instead looks to the net, blocked. Shinkarik spins away from Alvis. Shinkarik takes a stick to the midsection from McNary, but keeps possession of the puck. Now here's Gavrik at the point, sends it to the net. Bronner was in front, standing still, but no one was marking Bronner in front of the net there. He's standing all alone.
And it's tough to mark him even when you have a player down there because of his size. But
well, that is true, but
you have to at least give an effort.
Yeah. There's Gavrik entering in with Levesque. Gavrik to the net. That's a wrist shot that's snared by Hudson. So we've hit the final 5 minutes of regulation time. And as things are winding down here, Jack, if you're Billy McCreary, you've played now in this weekend. You have to kind of take a step back and evaluate it as a coach. I'm sure, if nothing else, that he's got to be more satisfied with the effort tonight than he was last night, because we mentioned before, 5-0 wasn't enough for the team. They come out, score 9, and for Billy McCreary, you have a lot to digest from this weekend.
Absolutely. There's so much to take away. Obviously, a ton of positives. I think the execution on the game plan in both games was strong for Danbury, and it was uncharacteristic territory that they were in. They were on the heels of a 3-game losing streak.
Here's Wolfe diving in front as Cruz Listmayer. Wolfe Denver got a shot off. A trailing shot now by Champlain is swallowed up by Nieder.
Yeah, good save there by Nieder. And then the trail, Champlain just getting into a good spot. We saw him go to the box earlier for fighting. This time, we've seen this a couple times from the hat tricks at least. They got that drop pass opportunity. Champlain comes in and takes a good shot, but again, it's right into the midsection, and Nieder, easy save for him.
Here's Anderson entering in 2-on-1. Anderson looks high, and it goes off the glass. Anderson in the corner now with Dearson setting up at the bumper position in between the hash marks. Garrett crosses the way to Tuma. Tuma now intended for Bullen Porter. It goes through his wickets and behind the net. Anderson throws a check. Battle Creek kisses it off the glass, and it trickles its way towards the blue line, kept in by Anderson. Anderson hits the truck stick and tries to get around Thomas, but Thomas is able to force him off the puck. Still vying for it. Dearson gets to it, sends one towards Anderson, but out of his general direction.
And to kind of follow up again on the point of what Billy McCreary wants to,
And now Anderson takes a swipe at Dagno, and there we go. Dagno immediately brought down to the ice by Anderson.
Well, that was quick.
Decisive at that. And Corey Anderson took exception through a gloved paw in the direction of Dagno, and Dagno tosses his helmet off to the side in frustration. And Dagno, for the second time, will get a fighting major.
I'm surprised his guys are going to the box. Just go to the locker room. 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes left to go on the scoreboard here. Let's head off. Maybe Anderson would like to stay out to celebrate with the team on a victory, but another fight there. And those are exactly the point you made before, Casey. Do not want to be fighting in a game where it's a 7-goal deficit. It's been that way now for over 20 minutes. There's just no need for it at this point.
Conversely, like if you're on the Danbury hat-trick side, you want to just make sure no one is being absurd.
Correct.
No one takes liberties. But at the same time, if you're Dagno, that's your role. Your role is to try to get under the skin of your opponent. And if you were to see the Danbury hat-tricks again, you would understand the rationale, but they're not divisional opponents. They're not going to see each other anymore. At this point, Dagno is trying to send a message to his team that they need to have more energy. And there's Corey Anderson waving to the crowd as he's dismissed.
And we'll wonder if that's a voluntary dismissal or something else came of it. The official says, all right, you're gone for the rest. We'll see through Christian Gardecki's message over the loudspeaker what that might be. But overall, this is a great takeaway for Billy McCreary. Not only is he reaffirmed to his team that he could still ball out there, but he's got a lot of positives to take away. And again, Casey following up after 3 tough losses, 2 right here on home ice. It's important that they came right back out and from start to finish this whole weekend were just the better team. That's the biggest thing to take away here. They didn't let anything get underneath them. They didn't let anything get by them. They were really strong defensively. They had very good goaltending. And then their offense was just clicking on all cylinders, and especially tonight.
So it looks like we're finally getting ready to play some hockey as Carter Shinkarik will serve Corey Anderson's spot in the penalty box. Faceoff will be to the right of Nick Nieder.
5 minutes put on the board. So it'll be a 5-minute major power play for Battle Creek. My assumption based on not having heard anything, and Dagnola's going to take an early shower too, but having not heard anything, this 5-minute major might be because Corey Anderson took a swipe at Dagnol and connected with the glove still on.
And now Shinkarik will be shown back towards the bench as John Krapinski gets an explanation from the officiating crew. Well, while we have a moment here, as a 5-minute major is being assessed to Corey Anderson.
Well, here's the situation here. He doesn't have to serve that 5-minute major penalty. That box can be empty if Danbury so chooses, just so that they have everybody available to come out onto the ice whenever they need them, especially when you're down a man in Corey Anderson. And that's exactly what Danbury's going to do. They're going to leave the box empty. They're still going to be down a man on the ice, but they don't need anybody to come out of the box because there's only 3 minutes and 40 seconds left in the period.
Well, after some deliberation, we are finally ready for some hockey as Morrissey has it trickle towards the blue line. It goes off of Billy McCurry's midsection. So it will, in fact, be a major power play for the Battle Creek Rumblebees. And that will conclude regulation. Morrissey enters in shorthanded. He's got Hanlon on his right. Spins away. Morrissey trying to evade a defender. Bush Anderson knocks him off the puck, and Alvis will settle it down. So the Danbury Hat-Tricks, you can catch the Hat-Tricks in action next week at danburyhattricks.com/tickets as a shot is blockered aside by Niedert as the Hat-Tricks take on the Carolina Thunderbirds. And what is the start of a long slew of home weekends for the Danbury Hat-Tricks. They have a lot of games here at Danbury Arena still remaining. They're home virtually every weekend in February and March, and it's a great opportunity for the Hat-Tricks to try to rack up some points as one of the most dominant home teams in the FPHL.
Yeah, absolutely. You look at that long win streak for Danbury, and it was pretty much every other weekend they were here. And a couple of weekends where they had some games here, some games in Watertown, Elmira. They split a couple series. But now it's going to be some very, very strong opponents coming to town and some good chances.
And now a shorthanded break for Tim Hanlon. Hanlon in on Hudson. Hanlon shoots, stopped by Hudson. Oh, Tim Hanlon was hunting for his first. It could have been a shorty. Now back the other way. Bush Anderson sends one wide.
Oh, you love to see it for Timmy, obviously, with the breakaway chance. Just couldn't finish. Good save there at the end by Hudson, but really good effort there from number 32 and Tim Hanlon.
Now Ruiz with Kasich in front looking for him, can't connect. And now in turnover, and Ruiz's shot almost sneaks under the underarm of Hudson, and Hudson agitatedly flips it away. And Hudson, I'm sure, takes exception to his teammates allowing a shorthanded breakaway. That was a shorthanded 2-on-0. If Hanlon wanted to, he could have back-passed it to Ruiz.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then another shot quickly put on him, and he flips it away, saying, come on, guys, give me a break here. We have a 5-minute major penalty where we could take advantage of, and Danbury still finding a way to get the puck to the net.
And boy, you feel like the Danbury faithful would have gone crazy if Tim Hanlon was able to get his first. He's one of those role players for the Danbury Hat-Tricks. Came very close. It would have been a nice moment for Timmy there. He's come close all weekend. That's an encouraging sign for Tim.
Yeah, he's played very well. I mean, he's had some very, very strong minutes in this series. And I think, he was physical last night. And John Krapinski said after the game he was very happy with the way he played. And that's why he got so much time on the ice, because of his physicality and just the way he's playing the game right now. Very good to see. He's a true fan favorite here in Danbury.
1:03 remains in regulation time. Well, if the score holds, barring the most miraculous comeback in hockey history, the Danbury Hat-Tricks will earn their 20th win of the season. Here's Kasich breaking in shorthanded. Kasich in on Hudson, slows up, tries the Forsberg move, and that one stopped by Hudson.
Wow. Couple of really good saves by Hudson. Kasich going old school. And then the rebound chance, that puck is still loose, and Morrissey tried a little tap in there, but Hudson did enough. He stayed with the puck. Morrissey didn't get enough on it to try to get it into the net there. Good chances. Danbury's really on the penalty kill? That's what's happening?
They're getting more breakaways now than they did during 5-on-5 play. And that was Mattias Kasich. Kasich trying a little bit of a different move than Hanlon. Hanlon went to Hudson's blocker side. Kasich says, all right, I'll go to the glove side. And now here's another rush. Here's Morrissey with Kasich. Morrissey to the backhand, crossing the way for Kasich through his wickets. And Hat-Trick's trying to reach double digits, but cannot. And that one-handed move for Mattias Kasich, he's done it before. He's done it in practice plenty of times as Gavrik with a pass from Morrissey cuts the slot. Shot save. Hudson rebound. Another stop by Hudson. Hudson with now sprawled out on the goal line, covers it up with his blocker hand. Highlight reel saves for Morgan Hudson here in the final seconds of action. And
that last play probably hurts a little bit. He flops backwards on his back, and eventually the net comes off, and that's why we get the whistle. But Danbury, nothing for granted here. Everyone wants to jump into the rush in these waning seconds.
13.8 to go. The Battle Creek Rumblebees will be 132-0-0 on the season. Their 3 points still sit 5th in the Western Division, and it looks like that is a hole from which they will not return. And in the waning moments, that will do it. 9-2 is your final score. The Danbury Hat-Tricks dominate thoroughly the Battle Creek Rumblebees and come away with a key victory. One that gets them back on the winning side at home after getting swept last weekend. They now find themselves winning consecutive games and building momentum after a strong offensive showing into a marquee matchup next weekend against the Western Division leading Thunderbirds. And Jack, what a weekend this was in particular for a couple of key forwards, Carter Shinkarik among them, Shane Morrissey among them, Kendall Bolin Porter. Who's going to hoist the barrel here tonight?
Oh, I mean, it could be anybody, but I think it has to be Kendall Bolin Porter for his performance.
We'll see as we have some milling about.
He's trying not to look. Somebody's got to do it.
Tim Hanlon.
Well deserved. Really good couple days for Tim Hanlon, and he did so well.
Tim Hanlon gets the hoist the barrel with Litchfield Distillery, celebrating the spirit of hard work. And that will just about do it here from Danbury Arena. We want to thank everyone for joining us here at Danbury Arena and on the Danbury Hat-Tricks YouTube channel. And a reminder to tune in next Thursday at 7 p.m. That's the next time you can catch these Hat-Tricks in action right here on the Hat-Tricks YouTube channel. It's a nice moment right in front of the Hat-Tricks bench as well. A picture for Billy McCreary and Nick Niedert. Longtime friends, the two of them, getting to suit up together, play together on the ice. That's a great moment for the pair.
Absolutely. You just see that long-term veterans, and this has been a really, really storybook season for the Danbury Hat-Tricks. And you see Johnny Ruiz and talking with Brett Menton, been a teammate for these Hat-Tricks for a long time, probably the last time that they'll cross paths, at least for this season. So some kind words being said between teammates there. It's the storybook continues for Danbury in their inaugural season, and just the stories that have developed over these last couple of months, Casey, the book just keeps on growing and growing.
Third star of the game awarded to Carter Shinkarik. Carter Shinkarik had himself a couple goals, a couple assists, and a 9-point weekend for Carter Shinkarik. I mean, what, goodness me. What a weekend for Carter.
You can't have much better weekend. And he only gets the third star. Can you believe that?
Second star is Shane Morrissey, another worthy candidate. A pair of goals tonight, another couple assists for him as well, as his terrific season keeps on rolling. Has a bit of difficulty tossing the puck over the glass. That's why he's a hockey player, not a baseball player.
Well, it's difficult when you're that close.
And Morrissey taking his sweet time tossing the puck up in the air. And number one star is Kendall Bolin Porter. His first pro hat trick. And what a terrific game this was for number 55, KBP. Well, that'll just about do it here from Danbury Arena. We want to thank everyone who makes a Hat Tricks game possible and everyone who helped us on the broadcast stream today and our statistician crew. And thank you all for tuning in, whether you're from Battle Creek, Michigan or Danbury, Connecticut. We appreciate all of your support. For Jack O'Mara, I'm Casey Bryant. Have a good night.